Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nerd³ Podcast! Yay!
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 I am also here.
Yay!
Hey!
Hello.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Basically, we all forgot to do any research this week, so that was Dan attempting to pad out the 3 hours.
That's like when The
but
Simpsons has a longer introduction than normal, like a really long couch gap.
Turns out that only filled 45 seconds, so we're still a fair bit short here.
Alright, anybody got anything to feel for these next few
You know,
hours?
I heard this for Baywatch. Right. The reason that the entire intro is in slow motion is legitimately because they couldn't fill the last minute or so of the first episode of the show, so they just half the speed the intro to double the length. That's legitimately true.
Wow.
I know. That's why they did a lot of slow mo in those episodes as well, because they just couldn't fill the fucking time. They didn't have the budget to. So
Well, it was quite a long show for a show about lifeguards pulling people out of the sea, which is not the most complex or long-winded procedure.
Yeah, you just grab them, dump them on the shore, and then just flex and jiggle your boobies.
Not to be unfair to lifeguards, but it's not a complex procedure or a long one. It's a very important procedure. If any of you listening are lifeguards, thank you for your service. It's very appreciated. But does it really need an hour-long show a week to discuss?
Yes.
It was
Okay, fine, good.
Hey Matt, the audio's really shitty on the stream.
Tan, I
probably-
know.
You should
We don't
probably
mention
fix
that because we're vodding.
Yeah,
and I've
I know,
already
but
fixed
I just
it.
want to point out how
it's
really awful it still is.
I had already
still
fixed it.
Quite.
I'd already
you say
fixed
we're
it.
vodding. There's a chance this video just won't go up like last time.
Well, yeah, but that was because you lost your fucking audio.
Quiet, baby. Quiet, girl.
Yeah. Also, I've already fixed it. I fixed it before you'd even mentioned it, so you can go fuck yourself.
It still sounds shitty on mine, but maybe that's just because it's your voice.
Mm.
Hey, you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a second.
I want to point out he did turn up after the explosion and the intro happened because he went for a piss and he sort of ran back. You could hear him running and panting in the background.
We also don't know where he's gone now, which possibly means he's just heard someone in peril, a fire across the city with his super hearing. He's just had to nip out to save them.
Yeah, I'm back. Whoa. Oh, dude. Right.
Right.
Hello. Sorry, I left the fucking window open, and then my neighbours just start to give me funny looks.
Ah.
They're like, because that's what Martians sound like.
My
I was
windows are
thinking
always
squid
open.
people. Excellent.
No, squid people might. Martians are low. It's low. It's lower.
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 More like a
Oh, of course, because they're further from the sun, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, duh. That makes sense, duh.
That's not how it works.
It's how everything works. Whoops, Firefox just crashed for me. Having a good stream.
Also,
There's actually a ton of news. There's actually a ton of really big, important news. We've got loads of stuff to cover this week.
There is. Should we start with the biggest thing?
Which
What
one's the
do
biggest thing? There's a lot
you
of
think
big
the biggest
things.
thing is?
I got engaged! Hey!
Yay!
Anyway, that's enough of
I
that.
hate weddings.
Aww. Well, that's a shame because you're the best
Rebecca is
man.
giving me the best look right now. Hi. Right, anyway. Yeah, that's
When's
that.
the wedding, Dan?
Well,
When's the wedding?
at some point in the future, most likely.
When do we get our invitations?
You won't. There won't be a wedding.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just gonna go to the thing. and
Where's the
sign
ring?
thing.
Oh, what's the engagement ring like?
I bought her a BB-8.
Uh-huh.
You know that the little remote control BB-8.
Uh-huh.
Cause who wants a ring? Fuck that shit. Apart from Gollum.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you buy your girlfriend a ring, then you're basically just saying you're as ugly as Gollum. So.
But
There's
if
that.
you like it, then you should have put a ring on it.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I like my computer, but I didn't put a ring on it.
Oh.
That doesn't apply for everything that you like. You don't have to go around putting rings on things.
This is why
Because
cock
if you
rings
do-
exist, Dan.
Because if you do that, then the Sonic the Hedgehog universe happens. That's what all those rings are. They're just Robotnik trying to claim shit. He's like, I'll have that tree and that blade of grass. It's a true story.
Are you okay?
You know what? I'm really tired. I've actually got an ulcer in my mouth, and I've talked for the last 3 hours recording that piece of shit Sonic the Hedgehog game. So,
that's sad.
so I am in extreme pain, and I've just played Sonic the Hedgehog 6 for 3 hours.
I want to point out when Daniel was trying to justify this to me, it was. Oh, I want to play Sonic the Hedgehog system. I went, why? And he went, I want to play a bad game and see how it goes. And he went, that's still terrible.
It's actually. I mean. I'm going to the bit where the early episodes of it. I'm like, oh shit, I made a horrible mistake, and now I'm sort of getting into the flow of, hey, this is really awful. Like I'm like Knuckles. There's a bit where I'm Knuckles and I climb along a wall, and then I just fuck off into space, and it's like there's a wall here. I'm like, no, there's fucking not. I bypass a whole section of the game just because Knuckles just goes straight through a wall.
I generally want to see where the story goes because I've never played this game and I've just seen the intro and this intro is terrifying and horrifying. Okay, I kind of want to see how mad the story goes.
By episode 7, the princess has been captured 3 times. That is not an exaggeration in any way. She has been physically captured 3 times already. It's
I want to point out,
quite
like,
fun.
I always, the several times I've seen videos in that game, it always starts out with that really nicely animated intro.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love the animated intro. It's like, and then it just... I don't know what the point of them having this really nicely, really pretty animated intro was.
I know. It's because that intro was largely built for another game that was set in that universe with those characters.
Well, I know. I remember you saying that.
Built most of it, yeah.
Even then, like, it just... The quality drops so much that it's so jarring that it's not worth doing it.
But then again, if you play any section of this game, you'll realise that none of it was worth doing, and it's an absolutely horrific, horrific nightmare of fear and pain.
Look, it's like having the damn ball intro and then us talking. It's the exact same quality drop.
Yeah, with that sound you had at the very start of the episode.
The VOD users won't notice it, and they never will.
Unless, of course, my thing shits out because my computer's being a dickhole. Hey!
Yeah.
Speaking of computers being dickholes, 29th of July, Windows 10 fucks off from being free and will become a paid product, so hopefully that means they'll stop trying to force it on us fucking Windows 7 users. Hey!
Oh, yeah, countdown to freedom.
You should get it, though, because it's a decent operating system.
Everyone says that, and they're wrong.
Why?
Because I don't want a decent operating system. I want a good operating system. Everyone always says it's decent. I'm like, well, the one I've got is pretty fucking great. So
Windows 7 is also decent. Like, neither of them are good.
I'd say Windows.
It's Windows. Windows is inherently just decent. Windows can never be more than decent.
I'd say Windows 7 is good. I say Windows 10 just adds a lot of faff that I don't particularly care for, and it makes your games not work.
Windows 10.
I'm strangely nostalgic for Windows 95. That was a great one.
I like Windows 10. I wanted Windows 95 had, then it sort of shone a bit further with 98.
No, well,
XP felt like a really nice step forward.
XP was a huge step forward.
The reason those three were so good,
a nice step forward.
It's because they kept it relatively simple, and it was still... The problem with Windows is they just, instead of doing what most other, like, Mac and Linux do, and that, you should do as an operating system, instead of going, okay, that thing is really old and we should probably fix or replace that, they are terrified of removing compatibility, so they never do. So when you're using Windows 10, there are still several bits of Windows 95 just in there, like whole menu sections of Windows 95, and they do. That's why Windows XP felt better because most of the stuff in it was relatively newish.
Yeah, they gave it a nice polish up, but now it's building on shitty foundations. They need to sort of like gut it and start again, but they can't because it's too.
I know because compatibility. That's the problem, and that's why a lot of people don't like Mac because Mac just does the gutting thing every 4 years, which on one hand makes it really, really a nice, stable operating system. On the other hand, any application made 5 years ago that's never been updated will never, ever work again.
Yeah. Also, it means that stuff like Final Cut X happens, where you just using a thing, and then suddenly it's like, oh, we're going to just, hang on, we're just going to update your software. Okay, we've changed your professional video software into editing for babies. There you go. Enjoy that.
Okay, I'd like to just address this. Final Cut X is a fantastic editing program, and a lot of the people who don't like it because the UI changed a lot, but it still has basically all the functionality of Final Cut now.
Yes, if you're a baby.
I hate you.
If you happen to be 3 years old and you're listening to this podcast, then I think you're actually getting a bit too old for Final Cut. Dan. That's the level we're at.
Dan, I edit with Final Cut. I'm recording in Final Cut right now.
Good. That's probably why everything failed last time.
Meanwhile, I'll just stand over here and die on this hill for Sony Movie Studio Platinum 12, a product from 12 years ago.
He does edit
still
on Sony.
Works
he legitimately edits on that. I want to point this out. That's not a joke.
It works fine.
Oh my god.
It's still working more than a decade on. You can pick it up for like $40 US. It
Yeah, that's-
works.
There's a reason you can pick it up for $40 US. Like that's
Now there are some small, tiny issues. Like it's completely incompatible with all modern GPUs, so there's no GPU acceleration unless you
Great.
deliberately go and put a second really old GPU in your computer because it just
Great,
can't
yeah,
deal
good.
with modern cards whatsoever. And there's a few other problems with it, but basically it's good. Basically it's fine. It's good. I like it.
Basically, it's fine. Premiere
Yes.
Pro is exceptional. It's a beautiful, glistening machine. Seriously, I got 24. Like, I've got the two Titan X's. That's like two 12 gig graphics cards, giving that thing a kick. Just renders so goddamn fast. Oh my god.
Titan X's,
Oh.
get with the times, Grandpa. It's all about the
Well,
1080
that was my
these days.
clever segue into the graphics card that's better, but also I still want to upgrade into the 1080 GTX, which was announced, which is a million times better than the card that's not supposed to be better.
yeah,
Because
apparently
the Titan
it
X isn't the best card. It's just the
No.
one with the most fucking graphical RAM in it, which is what you need for rendering, which is why I have them. Because I have to sort of have a jack of all trades machine. When
Yeah,
I
well, 'cause
build
the
my VR only machine in my VR room, which is a thing that I'm going to be sorting out because who needs a spare bedroom, I'm going to have 1080s in
You
there.
keep saying you've said that like 5 times. How many rooms do you have?
There's the Lego room,
I
the
literally-
VR
okay.
room.
Tum-tum.
Can I
room.
just...
The Tum
office
room, I don't even know
room.
what a Tum is, but I saw on Twitter there's now a Tum room.
Can
Whatever
I
the hell
point
that bloody
something
is.
out?
Okay, go
I
on.
do legitimately have a Lego room. But that's the only one I
know.
genuinely have. It's just where I keep all my shit, basically. But I have my thing set out there. That's where I do my filming. That is my recording room. So...
Oh, right, yeah, it's a
Well,
professional room, is it? It's for professional purposes.
Well, it's not for this sort of work, but it's for any sort of IRL stuff. So that goes in there.
That's how you justify it. It's like, this is a work-related thing.
Yeah.
You presumably must live in a country mansion, the number of rooms that we regularly go into.
I wish I did. Maybe I would have bought an engagement ring if I could afford a house that was a country mansion.
This is the Lego wing,
and
and
oh
that is
God,
the
dreams.
Tum
wing.
quarters.
Dreams.
Well, legitimately like a whole like sort of like sculpture room, but like just every sculpture is just a Lego sculpture. Like this just ridiculous thing.
That would make me happy.
Also,
So,
all the grounds are just Legoland. Like just
Basically,
Legoland.
getting slightly back on topic, there's a brand new graphics card that's coming out that's going to be incredible, but mostly for VR. It's got like 2 times the stuff in VR because it's really good at doing like several versions of the same sort of image or something. The Pascal architecture basically means that the 2 things for your eyes that you have in VR really, really fast at, which is huge for VR.
I think the big thing with that is that it's apparently it's 2 times more powerful. It's more powerful than 2 980s in SLI.
Yeah, in VR.
Which is really good because it gets around all the problems that bloody SLI kicks up half the time.
yes.
No, I hate SLI. I never buy 2 graphics cards. I always
Yeah,
buy the most
I
fucking-
wouldn't because I've heard too many horror stories about
Yeah.
SLI causing problems.
I like SLI because it kind of evens my load out on my graphics cards, and I don't really care for AAA stuff. And I use it for editing. I'm very boring. I like editing.
Well, that's it. It's for editing. Fair enough, but
Yeah.
like it's just as a gaming thing. It's like I'm gonna spend double the money on graphics cards to make a 3rd extra performance in some games. Like, oh,
Yeah.
why?
Well, that's what I mean. This new one's only going to give an extra 30%. The 1080 is only 30% on sort of average games. It just gets that 2 times 1 in VR games because of the way.
Which is a big thing because
It's so.
VR,
It's,
I mean,
I
VR
love that
games
stuff.
run fine for me. It's just that the graphical fidelity of them isn't very impressive.
There's very little graphical options in VR games I've found so far.
I haven't found a single graphical option in it. I found anti-aliasing in one.
I found one graphical option, and it was like, do you want better or good? Like, good or better? And that was in Space Pirate Trainer, which incidentally is the best fucking game I've ever played. So I'm digging VR, but like Space Pirate Trainer, it's just like some robots come up and you shoot them, but like little floaty ones, like the ones that Luke Skywalker would do his lightsaber shit with, and you just shoot them down. But like after an hour, fucking sweat coming off me. I literally play an hour every morning as an exercise.
No,
routine.
I have that with Audio Shield. Like,
Oh,
just playing
fucking
the
love
game.
Audio
I've seen
Shield.
your stream of Audio Shield. It sounds like
No,
it was
yeah.
getting a bit weirdly sexual.
The-
Can I just say
it
one
was.
thing about Audio Shield? Could they please add a hard difficulty? Because it's far too easy.
On hard, are you playing? I assume you're playing on harder.
Hardest, whatever the
hardest
fuck. The ultimate.
Well,
I'm
it
gonna
depends
fuck
on
you
the
up thing.
song though, because like if you play, there was the Mega
Fire in the
Mania-
Flames on hardest already done.
That was
Thank you
shit.
very much.
That wasn't very good.
Yeah, it's
in
not
Audio
done too
Shield.
well. I like Lady Gaga does really good music for that because her music starts very slow and then builds up. So she
Well, no,
has
but-
Audio Shield built music case
You
wanted
see,
to know.
Guitar Hero, and the reason people always mention Truth of Phantom Stones is the Guitar Hero fame, but Guitar Hero works on the actual strummed notes,
Yes.
while Audio Shield works on the beat, the backing
Yes.
beat.
I
And
find
Through the Fire and the Flames is boom, chip, boom,
Yeah.
boom, which is slower and not very technical. But like something like the Megalovania and Daft Punk remix, which is one of the top ones in Audio Shield, that's really fucking difficult.
I would love if Audio Shield did it the other way, where I could click a button and that would fire out that color particle. So what I could do is I could play the song and then like record my own bubbles to it, and then I could play against that. I think there's a fun thing to show draw, and then like that is a great multiplayer mode because you have one person drawing the things, and then you have the other person. Oh, like here's the music a little bit earlier because it's got to get across, and then as much they look really far away on the thing, they're actually just in front of you. You have another player actually is knocking all the things down.
I'm a fan of how it does rhythm, because I always got... It was one of the reasons I like Guitar Hero over Rock Band, is that Rock Band always required you to hit the notes very, very precisely, while Guitar Hero always gave you a little bit of leeway to be natural with it, because inherently music isn't about being incredibly precise, it's about the natural feeling.
Yes,
And
which is why Elite Beat Ages is the best game in the world!
Well, but
I love
Audio Shield has a separate points meter, it has a technical points meter, and it has a artistic points meter, which is if you actually actively punch stuff and hit them exactly, like, on time.
Yeah.
Because if you hold your arms up and just... you won't hit them
yeah.
exactly on time,
Yeah.
and you won't get as many points. So there's an actual incentive to fucking punch them and beat up those fucking orbs.
It's a workout exercise. Seriously, I'm gonna be buff. I'm gonna look like The Rock on top.
Yeah, but only on your upper body.
Yeah, and the bottom half of me is gonna look like Brock Lesnar's legs. Like he has really like buff legs, but he does look like he's a gorilla, like glued into his torso. So his legs look
John.
tiny. So I'm gonna have that sort of effect. I'm gonna look like fucking Mr. Incredible, just sort of like boom, and then just like nothing.
John, are you responsible for all the beeps in the chat?
Possibly, yes.
Yes, he is.
I may have instructed everyone to type beat once every 24 seconds.
John,
Yes.
I did send you a thing, and it was in retaliation for this, and you're not going to like it, John.
I'm going to record that. There's going to be an unboxing video for whatever Matt has sent me through the post. Matt has sent me something horrendous through the post, and I'm going to make an unboxing video.
I bet they'll just hand it to you in like a clear glass box or something. It'll just ruin the surprise completely.
Interesting.
We'll like say on the outside exactly what it is or something. You'll have to get Claire.
It sounds like you haven't sent me something, whereas you've ordered something for me, which is arguably even more worrying.
For you, as if I ain't gonna fucking bother ordering something to me and then sending it to you. That's inefficient.
I'm genuinely slightly worried for what the hell this is.
Look, okay, just fine. Look, if you're gonna do an unboxing of it, get Claire to take it and look at it and remove any evidence on the outside of the box and then give it to you. If you want to be surprised with it.
Guys.
Yeah, what?
Guys, we got a podcast to run. Could you stop flirting, please?
You know what, Dan? Ever since you got engaged, you've just been so negative to
all
other
these
people's love.
3 or 4 days. Ah.
Yeah.
So Disney's dead.
Jesus.
Holy shit!
When did what
Since
die? I thought you were still
Mickey Mouse is dead.
Yeah, not Disney.
Not all of
Just
Disney.
Disney
Just
Interactive.
the
not
bit
really,
that
but
hasn't
sort of,
really
yeah.
been doing very much since its glory days of Mickey Mania on the Super NES.
Aww.
That was one of my favourite games on the Super
someone in the
NES.
chat said,
Mickey Mania
"Copyright
was a
is free."
fantastic platformer.
I
But yes, Disney Interactive Studios is
What have they
gone, and
made?
most people have focused on this being the death of Disney Infinity.
yeah.
There is, however, one other project that I haven't really seen anyone mention yet, which is what happens to Kingdom Hearts 3, which Disney Interactive Studio was supposed to be in the middle of co-producing with Square.
I know. I assume Square Enix will just carry on with it. Because
Can they just do
they
that?
were doing themselves, and anything they were doing entirely first party, they've canned, apart from, of course, mobile phone things, because that's where the money is. So they're keeping all that stuff going. But any console things that they were doing themselves. So they are actually working, because think about it, they also do a few things with EA, with Star Wars. They work a lot with Star Wars with EA. So all those sort of projects that are being sort of mostly run by other people are going to continue to be mostly run by the other people. As from what I heard.
Okay, I'm just looking at the list of games they made. Of course, we're going to be missing out on any possible future Hannah Montana sing-along games, which is a very...
No, we don't have to worry about this, which is I looked into this before we actually did this, and I just literally went through every studio that has in recent years been part of Disney Interactive Studios, and it's a sad tale, a sad tale of squandered talent and general appalling mismanagement.
So it's
and
a
in some
games
ways
industry
we should
tale.
we really should have actually seen this one coming, because basically, like, since between like 2005 and 2009, Disney Interactive Studios acquired 5 or 6 studios to actually, make some bloody games. And those studios, Propaganda shut down in 2011, BlackRock shut down 2011, Junction Point shut down 2013, Wideland Games shut down 214, and finally, of course, Avalanche, not that Avalanche, a different Avalanche, now shut down this just the other day. So in office, there was only really kind of one guy left anyway, so like they've been shutting things down. Having bought them all about a decade ago, they've been shutting them down for the last 5 years.
Yep.
So kind of the writing felt like it's actually been on the wall. If you look at the trends, maybe we should have seen this one coming. But what's particularly fascinating about it is just how repeatedly they've got really talented people and made them do literally nothing. So say Junction Point Studios, who were acquired some point, like I think it's in 2007 or so, and was shut down in 2013. Warren Spector, who was the guy who was the head of Junction Point Studios, he had been basically acquired from Valve, where he said, and he's refused to say what it was, but he says before he was acquired by Disney, he was working on something for the Half-Life universe. Ooh. And he won't say what it was, but he was actually working on something Half-Life-y for Valve, and then Disney snapped him up to make Epic Mickey 2.
Yeah, great. What a fucking...
Yeah, and then basically shut down the studio immediately afterwards. So that's one fantastic thing. Wide Load Games, that was the co-founder of Bungie, Alexander Seropian, and they basically, having kind of taken him away and made sure he couldn't do anything else, they made him produce Guilty Party, a party puzzle game for the Wii U that literally nobody played, and then afterwards made him produce monetized mobile games.
Yay!
Well done. Then they shut down his studio in 2014, so marvellous work there as well. BlackRock Studios acquired earlier and then shut down in 2011. Those were the guys who made Pure and Split/Second, which were both actually pretty good.
Split Second is one of my favourite arcade races.
Yeah, actually they sold pretty well. They generally got decent reviews. They wanted to make a sequel, and they pitched to Disney. They wanted to make a sequel to both of those. Disney shot them down and said they couldn't. And in fact, it got so bad that in May 2011, an employee from BlackRock leaked to Eurogamer that since December 2010, half the studio had been given no work. They were just coming into the office and sitting there with nothing to do for 5 months, because Disney would rather have them sitting there doing nothing than actually give them work. Then they shut down the studio.
We had another story that was quite similar to this with, what's they called? Closed down. Lionhead were closed down.
Yep.
Some companies were actually trying to buy Lionhead because they weren't doing anything apart from Fable Legends. They were we want to buy them, and Microsoft shut them all down and was like, no, we're not going to sell it. We're not going to sell it. We're not going to sell it, and then shut them. Because that's competition or something. Yeah.
The BlackRock thing was just amazing, because, yeah, literally, they were saying since December that half the studio had been given no work. They would just they were being paid. They were just sitting there, sitting in the office and being paid at the end of each month.
You know, I just realised something quite important that no one's actually considered about this. What happens to Club Penguin now?
What the fuck is Club Penguin?
I didn't know that was Disney.
That's owned by Disney. Disney's number one.
I didn't know that was a Disney.
Is it?
Apparently, it's owned. It's Disney. It's Disney Interactive.
Oh, then it's gonna. Well, Disney Interactive is still technically alive, but they are kind of dead.
Maybe they'll just move it to mobile and tablet exclusively and stuff.
Well, yeah. Apparently, they've dropped out completely though from the games industry.
Yep.
Right.
I've never played Club Penguin. I'm pointing this out.
I don't think you're the target demographic, to be honest, unless you are literally the 8-year-old girl that people always say. But even then, that's a bit old for Club Penguin.
So sorry, I just made an accidental penis out of blue tack. Sorry, go on.
That's the most Matt thing you've ever said. Hey, okay, Disney Interactive Studios, we don't actually know if they've actually been shuttered or not, because we know that Disney Infinity's gone and closed down, and they've got rid of all their first-party stuff. But we don't know, and we don't know. Disney aren't saying, so it's we don't know yet.
If they've shut
probably
down
haven't
all the
decided
games
themselves.
and they've shut down all the studios, I'm kind of if they're still
Well, they
there,
also
I'm not
make
sure
their
exactly what it's
websites and
doing.
stuff, like websites and they might just go onto mobile apps and things. They might keep it alive for that sort of thing. It's just they shut down the console games, is what they said. It's console games that they don't think there's money in anymore. Or especially the Toys to Life thing, which was Disney Infinity, which that bubble has popped finally.
Well, no, I don't think it's necessarily the bubble being popped. I just think Disney Infinity itself is a bad business model. And so I saw someone make the good point with Disney Infinity in that sort of Amiibos and Skylanders, which are, I suppose, the two main competitors, and even sort of Lego Dimensions, they all have these different business models. Whilst Skylanders sort of the toys can be used. If there's a new Skylanders game that comes out, the toys can be used in the new Skylanders game, and the new Skylanders games have different mechanics, but the toys are just the characters. Then in Nintendo games, the Amiibos are often just collectible toys that unlock extra levels or something in the specific game it's related to.
Yeah.
And then the Lego Dimension stuff are specific characters and extra actual level DLC packs.
Yes.
But
and
Disney
only priced to balls. Overpriced to absolute balls to the point where I don't even buy the fucking things.
Yeah. They are overpriced to absolute balls, but I suppose the thing with Disney, with the Lego Dimensions especially, is obviously most of them aren't just being manufactured for that. Most of them are being manufactured anyway for sets, so they just get the base, stick it on a base, and bish bash bosh. So that probably isn't a hugely separate cost to them. But Disney Infinity, so made the good point, since they do the fucking new series every year, that, if Series 1 comes out and a parent spends, let's say, £100 for the kids, buying them the fucking figures and whatever, the base game, and then a year later Series 2 comes out, but there's nothing that Series 2 doesn't add anything to Series 1 aside from the new characters, and the kids don't really care, and the parents can't afford to spend another £100, and then Series 3 comes out, and by that point, the people who are interested in the game are just fine playing with the ones they've got, and the parents can afford them.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, but you're gonna cut off a few people, but the people who do stick with it, you've then got up to season 12 and way beyond. You can then cash cow them forever. That's how the model works.
Yeah, but they don't cash cow it like Amiibos, because the Disney Infinity figures are actually priced relatively low compared to Amiibos,
and they're decent quality.
I'd say they're a lot better quality. I've got 7 Disney Infinity figures. I've got 5 Inside Out ones and 2 from Zootropolis, and they're nice, really nicely painted vinyl figures. And I don't use them, but I got the fucking Zootropolis ones for like $5 each, and that's a good price for a nice vinyl model.
Yeah, I think that might be the problem. I think maybe the margins were too small next to Nintendo, who I suspect are cracking them out much more cheaply, but ending up selling them for quite a lot more.
They feel cheaper, they sell them for more, and they do the artificial...
Yeah, I think there's a huge... I think the profit per model sold has got to be much higher for Nintendo. Yeah. And that's probably why they can keep this train going and Disney can't. Or don't want to, at least.
Because Disney, for Disney Infinity, I've seen the most advertising for Disney Infinity. I've seen very little advertising for Amiibos or Skylanders or even Lego Dimensions, but I've seen huge amounts of constant advertising for for Disney Infinity. Like regular, all the time advertising. Not just... Like Lego Dimensions, there were a lot of advertising when it came out, but ever since then, haven't heard of it. But Infinity, I still see regular adverts for. And you think...
They've kind of got to. They've got to, because Nintendo can sort of package it in the same way that, their big first-party releases like Twilight Princess HD can be packaged with an Amiibo to introduce the line to people's houses, whereas Disney, because they've never really found a good way of integrating, they never wanted to integrate Infinity into the movie universe, they didn't really have a mechanism to advertise it intrinsically. They needed to use traditional marketing means.
Well, I just find it interesting that Disney inherently have some of the most iconic characters in all time, especially now that they own fucking Marvel and Star Wars. They've got this lineup that features every Star Wars character, all the Marvel characters, and fucking every famous classic Disney character from the cartoons or the movies, and you've got this fantastic, great lineup of famous characters that, unlike Amiibos, which, I suppose you have to be a bit into games to know a lot of them, or Skylanders, which, are just unique to the game, everyone knows Disney characters. And you'd think because of that, and because of Disney's influence, and they do very well.
And they did, because I've just had a look, and literally this year, IGN had an article called Disney Infinity, now most popular Toys to Life series thanks to Star Wars. And it says they had $200 million in sales this fall.
Yeah, apparently their profit was like 1.2 million last year.
1.2 million. That's 200 million. 1.2 billion. Yeah. So
Is that that's revenue though, isn't it? Is that
I
revenue?
think that's revenue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, it was doing really well.
Which brings up the question: why?
I have a possible answer. Maybe.
Okay. Don't just say I have a possible answer and not say anything.
Maybe they're just better at making films, and they've realised they can just make endless Star Wars things for cheaper, and that'll get more people seeing things in the cinema, and they'll make more money that way.
Possibly.
Maybe the actual game part... Maybe the game is absolutely unnecessary, because they can just sell Star Wars figures and that sort of figures and things. Like with Amiibo, they're kind of... You want that incentive to buy the game as well, you know? That's what you can't just buy an Amiibo and like it. You're going to more want it if you want the game.
Yeah,
whereas Disney can just sell Kylo Ren figures up the arse.
I think I'd buy those Inside Out figures if they weren't related to the game, and I'd buy them for that price.
Yeah.
They could just sell them without the base, and they wouldn't have to bother developing the damn game, you know?
I didn't really,
the other issue could be cost. We were just saying that possibly...
They characterised that they stylised the Disney Infinity ones. They didn't make them like actual models like the Amiibo ones, so I have no interest in them.
It depends. Because they style them after cartoons. For the Star Wars ones, I think they're based off the Rebels series. For the Marvel ones, they're based off like the animated series, but so that's the Inside Out ones, the Zootropolis ones, the ones based off the 3D movies look fucking perfect like they do in the movie. They look perfect.
Well, not all of them, because like someone like Sully looks awful.
Okay, for anything from Series 3 looks perfect. That's from 3D movies.
Okay, but I didn't know there were series. It's sort of the thing that I kind of ignore. I don't get the whole Toys to Life thing. I find it just a bit of a fiddly. Like Lego Dimensions. Lego. Look, fucking, did you see that picture I tweeted today of that big? I've got a stack of Lego to do, literally the size of a door now. And I fucking love Lego. And no, that's Lego Dimensions, because there's no point to it. It's far too expensive. You don't get anything. The only one I've bought is the Portal one, because that's the first Chell minifig that we've had.
Yeah, it's the exclusive.
And that's it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, the other one that I kind of want to get is the Cyberman, but it's so ridiculously expensive for just a minifigure.
Yeah, it is.
And not an interesting build, because it just comes with the Dalek, and I've already got 2 of them.
You know, I mean, it's strange, and it's hard to keep up with them. I think as a Disney Infinity, unlike the Amiibos, which have sort of a constant thing, and minifigs are always minifigs.
Yeah.
It's kind of, they had this series, and the Series 1 of Disney Infinity figures were pretty bad quality. They weren't very good. Well, they weren't bad, but then they got really good in this recent series, and I think maybe a lot of people got put off, perhaps, in Series 2 or 1.
It doesn't help that the game's a pile of arse.
Well, the game is a pile of arse, yeah. At least Lego Dimensions is just a Lego game, and the Lego games are pretty competent. It's just overpriced. I mean, it's a pretty decent game.
And in the Lego games, you can play as characters you haven't bought yet. There's a way of doing that. I can't remember what it is, but I remember reading that. I was like, oh, that's interesting, and then I didn't play it again, because I don't think...
Yeah, and it's kind of sad, because Lego Dimensions is something I really want to be interested in, because I like Lego, and I like all the franchises. They have Back to the Future and The Simpsons and Doctor Who, and they have all these really good franchises, and I like video games, and it's all these things I like combined.
Interestingly, I think Lego may have lost the Simpsons license, because there wasn't a big Lego set this year. Because last year was the Quickie Mart, year before the Simpsons house, and that was the big... May set. This year we got a Minecraft one. We got a big Minecraft set instead, which looks amazing.
I hate the Minecraft sets.
Oh no, this new one, the village. It looks great because it's like the whole village area.
Yeah, but
so it's like loads of houses and loads of things.
Okay,
and it looks really
Minecraft was Lego for computers. That's what people always said.
Yeah.
I don't need to play the Lego computers, but actual. I can just build it in Minecraft. I don't want.
That's like arguing. Why would I want to have sex with a thing? There's pornography.
I'm not sure that analogy works.
Pretty much the same thing.
Analogy.
There's something
I'm not sure that
different to
wait,
actually
hang on a
holding
minute.
and building the blocks as you want in your thing.
Yeah, but I can just do that with normal Lego. I don't need Minecraft stylized Lego for that.
I like Minecraft stylized Lego.
Oh, fuck off.
It's actually the same sort of price to buy a set than just a big blob of Lego. And I kind of like it. It's just a big 3D jigsaw puzzle, and I have a lot of it. A lot of Lego.
Yeah, but I'd rather spend my money on interesting like Lego sets that aren't just here is something from a video game.
Well, like Big Ben. I hear there's rumours Big Ben's coming. They're going to build a Big Ben with a house as a parliament, and then we're going to smash and smash and smash and smash, and then rebuild it. And then smash and smash and smash and smash.
Okay, you okay?
I want to talk about a game.
Go on.
Because
I have a Dalek question first.
Oh, yeah, sure, shoot. I got a Dalek.
Is your Dalek the Victory of the Daleks Dalek?
No. It's not.
No.
There were 2 in the episode. No, it's not one of them. I had it made.
Okay, I was wondering if, like, generally, if I go and watch Victory of the Daleks, is that your Dalek?
No,
What is one of those your Dalek?
No, this is
a custom one.
This is my custom-made Dalek.
Ah.
It's not quite finished yet. When it's done, there'll be a toys video on it. It's my big toy.
What's not done about it?
Well, it's gonna talk and light up when it's done, and it's pretty close to being done.
Twat.
Like, it's got actual light bulbs and the little blue light on the front. It's gonna shout exterminate and things.
Actual twat.
Then you install an AI so it can actually kind of start thinking and learning. Then you install actual weaponry on it.
You know what you should do?
Actual sync plunger.
Like take the sort of computing unit from a Roomba and put it in it, and just make it be like a massive oversized Roomba.
Yeah, people just get to the stairs and fall down, and I lose quite a bit.
Or even better, just stick a Roomba on it in the base. And just literally,
I need like
just
4
goes around
Roombas. It's really fucking big. Daleks
we'll
tend
get
to be
4
really quite
Roombas.
big.
Like, legitimately though, if I just having a dog wandering around hoovering is.
I would love to think that at some point in the past, on Skaro, Davros had this exact same conversation with like some of his friends during their podcast.
Yeah, he's like, I've built this thing. What is it? It's from an old TV series.
It's a Dalek. Like, I can't make it move. You try putting 4 Roombas underneath it, Davros. That's really heavy. We need more Roombas than that.
Yeah, the
Seriously,
Dalek
though.
will be up and running soon, and there will be a video on it when it's done.
No, but seriously, you just walk downstairs one day and the Dalek's just wandering around.
Can I point out that the Dalek doesn't fit through a door frame?
Well, fucking make the door frames bigger. I don't know.
Alright, yeah, I'll make the door frames bigger in my house, just to custom. I could just get a Roomba if I actually genuinely wanted to Tuva. It would get
Just
wedged.
set up a
and then
Dalek
it'd be
room with
set.
an extra wide door.
That's what I need.
Of course, you don't put a Roomba on a Dalek because you want things hoovered correctly. I mean, you wouldn't buy a
Why
Roomba
not
ever
just
if
get
you
a
wanted
remote
something
control
hoovered
car and remote
correctly.
control it? Why not attach
They
a
can't take
drone
much
underneath
weight.
it and fly it around the fucking place?
Because the Roomba's
They're
automated
really, you
and
just said
just
it was
does
really
itself.
heavy.
Yeah, well, I get a big
Yeah.
drone.
It's a bit- If it... What did you want to talk about?
I want to talk about this so we can get it out of the way in the first half, so everyone will leave and hate me early, so we can really slide into a descent for the second half. But I want to talk about
Cool.
Uncharted 4.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Because I'm now 4 hours in, and I'm like, hey, when does this game start? Because everyone is wanking themselves off furiously about how this is the greatest video game to ever grace our eyeballs. And I'm sitting there going, I'm playing a good 4 out of 10 right here. When does this start? When's this game going to go? You know what game it reminds me of the most? It reminds me of The Order 1886. Because I'm looking over these games and I'm like, incredibly pretty, console exclusive, quite short, and then it just is
It has
things.
more gameplay than The Order, though, in fairness to it. That's something.
Well, it has jumping and hanging on to stuff, because
yeah, that's
The
still
Order
more
is
gameplay
cover
than The Order,
shooting.
though.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
gameplay that I'm kind of, done with. It's
But yeah,
really
but
annoying as well at the
Uncharted
moment.
also has cover shooting.
Yeah, but that's it. It reminds me so much of the same thing. I'm sitting there going, this is... Like, everybody says the second half is better, and as someone who's, I'm on, chapter 8 now. I did a thing that was very dull in Scotland, but like everything in Scotland. Apart from Five Guys, because that fucking Five Guys in Glasgow is the best fucking thing in the world. But I did a thing. It's so... Right, there's this big mansion, right? There's this big mansion, and you got to go do a heist. It's very early in the game. You got a big mansion, and you got to go heist it up. And so, you go to this big mansion... And there's a bit of a cutscene before it, and then it's like, right, let's go to this mansion. I'm like, okay, good, let's walk in the front door and schmooze and do stuff. You then do all this climbing and shit round this mansion. I'm like, there are so many other ways to get into this thing. This feels really forced. And then it just, I don't know what's happened with Uncharted 4 me, because I have this big thing of. I don't know, it's just really sitting with me wrong. Every single time, every bit of the game that's happened, I'm like, yeah, but why does that make sense to the story of the game? It's like the gameplay and the story are fine, and I know that's always been argued, because Nathan Drake is a mass fucking murderer. Even the trophy for killing 1,000 people is called Ludonarrative Dissidence, which I fucking love. I'm there going, well done, Naughty Dog, you've discovered a problem. Why didn't you fix it? Why is, they're just... this thing, and I don't think it's that
They're
pretty.
on the 4th game, it's a bit late, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the it's the 4th game, it's the last game. I kind of want, by the end of this game, Nathan Drake to just be on the floor being shot by 1,000 enemies, going what the fuck were you doing? You murdered a lot of people for your own personal gain. It's...
I mean,
but the whole game, for me, I don't know what's doing for it, it's just breaking apart, and I'm going, yeah, but why is this a thing? Why are we doing this? Why was this here? And I don't... Because it's one of those things, when you're playing a game and you question a bit of it, then that ball starts rolling, and Uncharted 4 made me question it really early on. Like, you start in a boat section. You're on a boat, and you're ramming other boats, and they piss off with awful physics. They just fly fucking miles when you gently ram them. And it's like there's a mountainy thing in the distance, there's an island, and it feels sort of like it could be open world and a bit more open, but it's not, and it's all very funneled. They do, like, fake open thing, which I don't actually like. I like it to either be open or not. When you go, it's open, and then I go and push somewhere, like, oh no, don't do that. I don't like that, and that sort of irks me and stuff. And then you're in an orphanage being very slow and making offensive jokes. And then, I can't remember what happened. Then there's a whole section where you're scuba diving, doing this thing, and just nothing happens. You scuba dive to get this thing, and you get the thing, and then you go home.
Well, isn't it just like a bunch of chapters of just him doing very short things from his past, and it's just...
Well, there's a few, but now we're sort of in, like, current time, and he's sort of... They had this heist thing, which had a bit of running and jumping, and it's all... We've had one puzzle in these first 4 hours. And I'm only 4 hours in, but I don't get a lot of time to really play games these days. But I'm sort of... You know what? You know what's fucked me up? It's fucking Dark Souls. Because in Dark Souls, there's like a cutscene at the start that goes, bibbidi babbly, there's the story, we'll hint at it, you'll get it if you watch this later on. And then it's like, alright, go, fuck off. And then there's like 3 cutscenes before some bosses, and that's it. The rest of the time is you exploring and discovering and playing. And I feel like Uncharted should be more like that. Not the whole difficulty thing, but the whole exploring and finding and seeing.
You know what you just described about Dark Souls?
What?
That's exactly how Fallout New Vegas is.
Well, that's because Fallout New Vegas is widely regarded as a decent video game.
What, John?
Oh god, don't turn this into a Fallout.
You get one intro cutscene and you get the rest of the story if you pay attention. Otherwise, you can just fuck off. Is that not how Fallout New Vegas is?
There is a lot of talking if you want to engage with the plot in any meaningful sense.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to know what's going on, you can easily, but you can just fuck off and ignore it if you want to. That's my point.
But you can't navigate the world without engaging with it. There's no way you can reasonably expect as a new player to find your way to New Vegas if you don't engage with people and speak to them and learn. You can't just stumble your way there.
Well, no, but like, of course you have to learn shit. In Dark Souls, you have to learn shit. It's not saying you could completely ignore everything, but you can ignore the overarching story as a whole if you don't care.
I've been advised by my lawyers not to discuss Dark Souls anymore, because every time I mention Dark Souls, there's just 100 people that kind of pop up from like behind a cupboard or something, telling me I haven't played it enough, so I'm not allowed to have an opinion about it.
I'm quite scared of my Dark Souls opinion, because I really like 3, and I'm at the point where I'm like, it's got loads of problems, but the actual base game with the exploration and everything is so good. But I get the feeling that the next one I play, I'll just hate everyone who dislikes it, because I feel like that's like the journey that every Dark Souls fan takes. It's like, but the next one, you'll fucking kill anyone who speaks wrong about it. I'm kind of excited for that.
Okay, I hate
Going back to Uncharted 4, I've got a kind of a counter example there. From how you were describing it, it sounds to me not wholly dissimilar to Saints Row 4, which, as my understanding is, you do not mind.
I don't like Saints Row 4.
I thought you were okay. Okay, no, fine. Okay, then that makes perfect sense. Beautiful. And everything's tied up in a knot. I think you like Saints Row. Who doesn't like Saints Row? Someone I know doesn't like Saints Row 4.
I like Saints Row 2. I think 3 kind of went a bit too far. I was like, oh, that's not great. And I think Saints Row 4 is awful. In fact, if I'm rightly, I've ripped it apart and said it's really awful.
Well, Saints Row 4 is just Saints Row 3 with superpowers which don't fit into the
game and it's all sort of like crashed together. It feels really cheaply made as well.
Yeah, I agree.
But I
do agree.
I don't know. It's. I like Saints Row 2. That boat section, I'm shooting things in a boat. I'm like, oh my god, this is Saints Row 2. But yeah, Uncharted just because it's got that level of realism to it. Like the mocapping and the graphics are all excellent. Because it's got that. When the actual game kicks in, I'm like, this doesn't fit anymore. And it really came to light when they force you to play a level of Crash Bandicoot. Because I'm playing Crash Bandicoot in Uncharted 4, which does piss me off because I really don't like fourth wall breaking unless it's sort of a thing for the series. And I'm playing Crash Bandicoot and I'm like, this platforming makes sense. Because in this game, all you've got is the platforming. You've got platforming because you've got to go down this thing, and otherwise that's it. That's where you go. This is the thing you go. But Uncharted 4 is telling this big story, and it's like, oh, now you got to platform around these things where there's these convenient footholds everywhere. If there's like one foothold missing, his entire adventure stops. And it's sort of, the more they've added, and the more there's story, and the more games are getting like realistic and story, they kept the same gameplay. We've had climbing gameplay for fucking decades now, and it's now doesn't really fit the stories they're trying to tell.
This is, of course, the same exact dangerous route that Homefront Revolution is going to go down later this month, when you have to play a much worse game to be allowed to play HD versions of Time Splitters 2.
Yes.
And after you play that, why would you ever want to play Homefront Revolution again?
Yeah. Oh, I really want those on PC. Come on,
I'm just gonna try and get review code for Homefront Revolution just because I want to play Time Splitters 2, and I'm not gonna put any of the Homefront Revolution up. I'm just gonna put 2 videos up for Time Splitters 2, and that's gonna be it.
Yeah, folks, that's pretty much my plan as well.
Yeah,
but yeah. It's so that's the thing. It's just sort of because you could see like the way like when Uncharted 1 came out, everyone went, "Oh, that's a really good game." Uncharted 2 came out, and it sort of blew everyone away. Because it sort of had that nice exploration. Uncharted 2 was sort of that nice middle ground of it. And it doesn't really do a lot of... It has quite a few cutscenes, but it doesn't kind of, like, stop you. Like, I found a lot of my time on Uncharted 4 so far has felt, like, really, really linear. Not just like, you've got to go over there, now get there. It's more like, you go over there and we're going to hold your hand and take you there. Oh, look at these things as we point at them.
Well, it's the sort of... It makes you think it's open, but because it makes you think it's open, it's not. It feels
yeah, and
linear.
I'm finding a lot of invisible walls and things. I'm like, oh, can't go that way. Oh, can't go that way. So it's sort of. I mean, it's like we've got again. I mean, taking a traditional like Dark Souls again. Because I've got to go back to it because I think it's actually one of the pinnacles of gaming, and it's taken me quite a while to realize this. Is that Dark Souls just goes the gameplay and the story fit, but we're not going to constantly stop you and tell you the story. And that's what modern... I think that the real issue is that games don't actually know how to tell a story yet. It's very rare you actually get a chance with a good game that actually tells you the story properly. And actually... Because most games go, alright, stop doing that thing that you're here to do and watch this movie for a short while. Like,
it doesn't do that. You know what game doesn't do that, Dan?
What game?
Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, well, that's because it's Fallout. And I've started falling in love with Fallout as well. But
why do you hate Fallout New Vegas? It does all the things you like.
But I haven't played it yet!
Because you don't like it.
There's a video on your channel!
Yeah, and every time I mention it, you go, oh, I don't like Fallout New Vegas.
I've played it a bit, but I know if I go back to it, it'll be missing Fallout 4 things. I'm going to wait for them to mod the Fallout 4 things into Fallout New Vegas, and then I'll be alright.
They already have, pretty much.
Well, then
what Fallout 4 things?
Like being able to
the quick loot menu.
Yeah, and nice stuff.
That's already in New Vegas. There's a mod for that.
Anyway, here's the thing. You're playing a video game, the superior medium entertainment over movies, and then it stops to show you a movie to explain more of the plot. That's like, imagine every 7 pages of Harry Potter. Jesus. In every 7 pages of Harry Potter, it just showed you a picture to explain some of the plot, and then you carried on. That's the sort of thing.
I'm pretty sure my nieces have a version of Harry Potter where that does happen.
Oh my god, Harry Potter 4 of that size would be colossal. But it's I don't know, I feel like we'd just be... I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me. And I'm there going, everyone's liking this, why am I wrong? What's going on with this? But then, again, I've just realised why I don't like it. Holy shit, Ratchet and Clank. Because Ratchet & Clank is the exact same game. It is a shooty, platformy, climby sort of game. It doesn't do anything else. It tells a story in the cutscene things, but it never felt sort of controlled and invasive. Uncharted 4 constantly, I feel like it keeps taking my hand, like, no, look at this thing, now go through this thing. Whereas Ratchet & Clank was cutscene, start the level, do the level, end, cutscene, let's go to the next bit. And I feel that sits better than this sort of, Order 1886 sort of semi-cutscene gameplay hybrid story thing.
Okay. You said like you think Uncharted's a solid 4 out of 10, right?
That was me taking more of the piss, but that's because the opening has been so slow.
Okay.
So slow.
It legitimately, like, would you like if you had to rate it, what, like 7, 8? Just hypothetically, just give me a very ballpark.
It would get like a 5, but that's because I have a different rating system to people,
right.
and I think a 7 is a good game. I'd go, 7's a great game.
That's you don't have to justify it. Let's say 5, average game. Right, fair enough. 5 out of 10. Now, do you think it'd still be a 5 out of 10 if it wasn't an Uncharted game from Naughty Dog? If it was the same game, but it wasn't an Uncharted game from Naughty Dog?
It would still be the same game.
Well, it would be the same game, but the problem I have with this game is either you have the people who are really into the hype because it's an Uncharted game from Naughty Dog, and there's so much heritage and sort of prestige there that people get so into the hype that when it comes out, even if it doesn't meet all their expectations, they sort of have this warped view of it that it does meet all their expectations because they expect it to meet their expectations.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I fucking hate video game hype, because it makes fucking people jack off over a video game even if it's not very good because, Naughty Dog, who gives a shit if Naughty Dog made it? If it's crap, it's crap. If it's not, fuck off. But do you think you're looking at it more badly and seeing it in a more negative light because you expect better of Naughty Dog and Uncharted?
No, because I didn't like The Last of Us very much either. Oh, Uncharted. I never played Uncharted 3. I don't have a love of Naughty Dog.
No, not a love, but sort of a...
Well, I don't like Crash Bandicoot either. Crash Bandicoot 1, I played it more recently, and the save file system is awful. But me and Naughty Dog, we've never really got on. Like, I'm like, yeah, they're great. I think Naughty Dog makes solid games. They absolutely are masters of taking the console technology and pushing it to its absolute fucking limits. But
oh god, what they did with that PlayStation 3 was ridiculous.
Yeah, they did some serious shit. I mean, what they did with the fucking Vita was ridiculous. But I still think that they... I mean, for me, honestly...
John.
My highlight of Naughty Dog is Jak and Daxter 3. I think that's my favourite Naughty Dog game. On the desert. That's the Desert Man Max one, isn't it?
See, I've never played any Naughty Dog games. The sad thing is, I've got the Last of Us Remastered and I've got the Nathan Drake collection on PS4 because I never, when I was younger or anything, I was never a PlayStation guy. My first PlayStation was a PS3 and I basically never really played any. I played Little Big Planet and a couple of like exclusives, but I never really got into the PlayStation ecosystem because I don't have that nostalgia for any of these sort of like Ratchet and Clank or Crash Bandicoot. I don't have any nostalgia for anything like that.
I missed the first Uncharted, and then I just never really caught up. I was going to like do something for The Last of Us, but like Naughty Dog they've always been kind of lukewarm about YouTubers. They don't actually like YouTubers.
Yeah.
But I think they've kind of come around a bit, but they've never really made any sort of statement or any sort of blanket permission or anything. So like when like I read that like they basically said they weren't really keen, I can't be bothered then.
You know why that is though. It's because they're owned by Sony.
But Sony have come around to it. Sony's own internal studio is basically blanket permission now.
But they've also tried to get let's own the word "Let's Play."
Well, the interesting thing with Sony is recently, and this is very recent now, because usually with the AAAs, I have to initiate contact with them for stuff. Like if there's a game out, it's very much I pursue the AAA. But recently, Sony's not doing that. They're actually actively contacting me and being like, "Hey, do you want this game to play on YouTube?" Like they've suddenly become a lot more open. Maybe they've got some new marketing people or something, but their opinions
Square does that
changed.
a lot too these days. Western Square is very proactive.
And Western Square and Sony have sort of maybe the Japanese companies
Bethesda
are sort of coming
is pretty
around
much as well. Actually, Bethesda's alright at that.
Yeah, but because they have a third party PR company though, don't they? Beth Blog or whatever it is, Beth Soft. Who knows?
Yes. Them things. So yeah, Uncharted is just a bit better.
But
maybe it gets better. Maybe it gets better as you get further on because
but fucking you shouldn't have to play.
That's the thing. I'm like 4 hours. 4 fucking hours. I'm like, Jesus Christ, come on, just get to something. Just do it. Something interesting, because I know like there's going to be a betrayal. I know that Rafe guy's going to end up being the fucking main villain, because that's fucking obvious as balls. And I know they're all going to be fucking happy fucking families at the end of it, because Naughty Dog don't have the balls to kill them off, because they didn't fucking do any of that shit in The Last of Us, and they damn well wouldn't do it with this. So I don't know. I just feel like it's like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about game
this
stories.
sort of attitude. No, this sort of attitude about it gets better in this second half or the third half or whatever. Third half. What the fuck is that? Shut up. I don't think, like, 'cause in a game like Uncharted, which, I mean, let's be honest, it's an inherently mechanic-driven game. When most people play Uncharted, the story is more of a backdrop. They play it for the gameplay more than anything.
Yes. It's a framing device. The story is just a framing device. I want treasure X, let's go get treasure X. Yeah,
so, like, but in something like, I remember saying to you about the Walking Dead, the Telltale one, and I know you didn't like that, and that's fine. It's, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Whatever. But my opinion of that is it does get better as it goes on, but that works as a story because the story is developing and it becomes more interesting, not because the first ones are bad, but because it's building up to something. But Uncharted doesn't really, especially from me watching, because I haven't played it, but from me watching others play it just doesn't seem to be really building up to anything that interesting. So saying it gets better in the second half is just sort of like...
Well, the thing that I love very much about Uncharted is that it all goes supernatural in the second half. Is that the weird shit starts to happen, and that's when they get genuinely interesting. So I assume that this game has some absolutely really out there batshit supernatural stuff, which I'm super looking forward to because that's my favourite bit of the Uncharted series. But then again, when you're trying to tell a really grounded story in that universe, I'm like, okay... gonna sort of lose it a little bit when I'm looking at their fucking home life and they got a PlayStation 1 and they're playing fucking Crash Bandicoot. I'm like, really? Why does she have a fucking PlayStation 1? What fucking year is that game set in?
Also, it was a really big TV for a PS1 to be hooked up to. It would look shit.
I don't know why they would have a PlayStation 1, unless, of course, I'm not going to say that because that actually might end up being a spoiler. Just never mind. Just had an idea of how the plot could end.
Time travel?
Not time travel. Not time travel. Has Uncharted ever said when it's been set before? Fuck it. Even if it hasn't, they fucking retcon it. The reason this game starts so slow is because they have to introduce an entirely new character in Nathan Drake's brother. Because he's never even been mentioned before. Like in the third game when there's this woman's being all evil and going, Nathan, here's all the things that I know about you. Doesn't even mention the brother. And the brother is there and then is a kid is I'm your brother and then dies and then comes back in the first 3 hours. They try really, really fast to build this whole brother character, but it does slow and crash the whole game down. I don't know why they didn't just pick another person, but I don't know. They wanted to get Troy Baker in there, is I suppose the real reason. But yeah, that's I just think that I'm just not enjoying it. It's not sitting with me, darling. I've not been having a very fun time.
Anyway, let's talk about we said Battlefield versus COD. Ooh.
Yes, I think this is one of those strange moments where internet memes have completely shifted people's perception of everything, because it's now become it's become temporarily trendy to be of the opinion that Battlefield 1 has completely dominated COD, when COD looks to my mind broadly the same as it did in Ghosts and Black Ops and Advanced, and Battlefield 1 looks, albeit with a slightly different setting, broadly in line with how you'd expect Battlefield to look as well.
Yeah.
Yes. But
instead, that's not what the internet is allowed to think. The hive mind has come to a separate conclusion.
Well, that is that they really want a Call of Duty 4 remaster, and they're complaining, and that's what most of the downloads.
I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Is the Call of Duty 4? But
haven't they backed down on that though?
No.
No, they haven't. But they are totally I can say this with 99% confidence that they will release it as a standalone several months after the fucking.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As soon as it's done, they've got the money of the original fans. They can fuck them over. I don't care. It's Call of Duty. You know that Battlefield 1,000 times over. Who cares?
Whatever. I think the interesting thing is they're just doing another future game. It's what, you've been buying COD for fucking 5 years, fucking 10 years, and only now you're sick of the same thing. How does that work?
Well, let's ask some Pokemon fans.
Oh, John wants to talk about Pokemon.
I just want to mention the new starters and see if any of us have opinions about which is our favourite of the next generation of starters.
I absolutely love Blathers.
Pokemon.
Your choices are Rowlet, Litten, or Poplio.
Blathers.
I like the Pokemon.
Blathers is my favourite. The guy from Animal Crossing, he's a Pokemon now, isn't he?
Yes, he's Rowlet.
That one. My favourite's the yellow one with the tail.
I played Pokemon X or Y and I hated it, so I'll play this one. But that's just
I've got a lot of catching up to do. I need to play Black and White and X and Y and Salt and Pepper before I'm caught up in terms of the plot to be able to play Sun and Moon.
I don't know if Salt and Peppers are real or not. That's how many fucking games they've had.
Heaven and Hell. We haven't had Heaven and Hell. You know what? I'd totally pay for a Pokemon Batman vs Superman.
Pokemon Batman or Pokemon Superman?
Yeah.
All the Pokemon are just different types of Batman and Superman.
You know what, though? The amount of Lego minifigures there are of Batman.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
I got a new one
like Buccaneer Batman, Space Batman, Snow Batman,
okay,
Scuba
but
Batman.
Wait. If you had to pick 3 Batman iterations and have them evolving into each other, which is the first baby Batman, what's mid-stage Batman, and what is final, terrifying, fearsome evolution of Batman?
Okay, well, this is a great example of fucking Christopher Nolan's 3 series. You have Batman Begins, shitty, fucking not even wearing a batsuit Batman with the fucking balaclava and the fucking belt and the shitty fucking harness. Then you got, Batman Begins, original suit where he can't move his head. Then you've got the Dark Knight Returns Batsuit where he can move his head and he has full motion and he has all the gadgets.
They're too similar though. Surely the first evolution of Batman needs to be like Bruce Wayne from Gotham or something, where he's like a kid.
That's not really Batman though. It's just Bruce Wayne. That's a different character entirely.
Well, I know when we're talking about Bruce Wayne versus Batman, have you ever actually seen Bruce Wayne and Batman in the same room at the same time, Matt? Because I'm beginning to suspect they may be the same person.
I hate you. John, I hate you.
I don't think they're the same person. I think it was the butler with the candle in the library.
In all fairness, Alfred in the series Gotham is seriously badass, and I'd rather he be Batman than Bruce Wayne.
Apparently, in some of the comics, Alfred was Batman for a while.
Yeah, but Gwen
Pretty much
Stacy
everyone's
was
been
Batman in some of the comics, because that's fucking how comics work. It's like, we just mash all the things together, we don't care anymore.
I think everyone's eventually been Batman at some point. He's not a very prestigious title, to be honest.
Everyone's Batman. That would be my favourite Batman Arkham game. Just Batman, everyone's Arkham, and just every character you come across is Batman.
Just
Okay,
in a
I'm gonna suggest first evolution is Bruce Wayne wearing a little mask. Then at level 16 he evolves into Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond, and then the final evolution is Batman from Dark Knight Returns in the massive Batman mecha suit. That's the final evolution of Batman.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'd start with actually a bat, and then
That's probably a good idea. Possibly just Zubat evolves into Batman.
no, a bat, and then a man, right?
Yeah.
And then Batman.
Batman.
Yeah. See, you went.
Actually, it could be kind of like Mantike and Remoraid, where you've got to have a man in your party at the same time as Zubat, and then it evolves into Batman.
You catch a Christian Bale.
You have to go and catch Christian Bale. If you've got Christian Bale in your team at the same time as Zubat, then Zubat levels up. It evolves into Batman.
Yeah, but Christian Bale's Batman only would, like, you look at all these like moves. He's like, why does he have growl 4 times? I don't know. It's just a...
Yeah, but then you can just release Christian Bale and keep Batman.
How does the game mechanic work? Because obviously, for Bruce Wayne to become Batman, his parents have to die. So how do you work that into a Pokemon setting?
You have to have at least one of his parents in your party and have them faint the same battle that Bruce Wayne levels up.
Every Batman you come across has their parents with them, and you have to kill the parents to catch the Batman.
It's like Cubone and Marowak. It's just part of their backstory.
Like, that'd be a great tutorial, wouldn't it? It's simple. We capture the Batman, they just shoot the parents in the face.
We finally got the self scope. Now we can figure out what the mysterious entity is. Oh, it's Batman's parents. Kill them.
You know what? Like, if the what was the fucking Rick and Morty Pokemon clone? What was that called again?
That was Pocket Ricks.
Okay, Pocket Morty. Like, I'd be fine with a Batman one of those. You know what? Fine.
Yeah.
Just Pocket Batman. All it is just different Batmans. Fine.
Batmen.
You know what?
Yeah,
but okay, Superman though. Instead, how do you evolve Superman? Because isn't he already at max evolution just all the time? Is that the joke? Is that like it? He evolves and nothing happens. Like, that's it.
Consistently shit.
He can just be like a one-stage legendary. He's fine. He's basically genderless. He just sits. He just sits like a legendary Pokemon. Just like sits in a cave, like and waits to be caught. Superman, or at least modern cinema Superman, just sits moping in his fortress of solitude, being mopey and serious, till someone goes and tosses a master ball at him.
No, yeah, but you could have a whole game full of different Batmans, so many Batmans. But like, how would you fill a game with different Supermans? Like, you
could have like Kid Superman from Smallville.
Superman, there's Gwen Stacy Superman. They're all there.
Smallville Superman. Smallville Superman. That was quite good.
Yeah, but they're all the same though. Like you have Pokemon Batman. You have a billion Batmans. You have Pokemon Superman. You have Superman, and that's the only character. It's the only Pokemon. That's your starting Pokemon, and that's it. Like when
you could have like Clark Kent. Clark Kent can evolve into Superman.
Yeah.
Clark Kent.
How about Kal-El? Baby Kal-El evolves into teenage Clark Kent. Evolves into Superman. At which point he gains a secondary flying type.
What the fuck is baby cat?
Before he's just normal.
Yeah. Clark Kent's just a normal type, and Superman becomes a normal flying type.
That's cool. I like that.
What the fuck is he gonna do? Like as a kid, though, what are you gonna attack? He never attacked.
Well, he's gonna be a baby in a cocoon because he's just arrived. Because he's Kal-El, so he'll be a part steel type. He'll be like the cocoon phase. He'll be defensive.
I quite enjoy the fact that we've now sort of set up a game where a baby Superman is killing Batman's parents, and that's how we catch things.
Oh god.
Yeah, but then they realised that both of their names were Martha, so it's fine.
We should totally contact Warner Brothers and just.
Hey, Warner Brothers, we got a game plan for you.
It's really bloody epic.
It'd probably have more of a story than actually the movie Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, we should make that. That's our new thing. Speaking
Which-
of crappy things to do with superheroes, who watched Captain America: Civil War?
I really liked
What?
it. What do you mean?
That
crappy?
was good.
Yeah, fuck off.
Okay. Maybe I'm just not liking things at the moment because I have like much better things, but it just so many things.
That's so 1%.
I know, right? It's like I have.
Well, I don't like
much
McDonald's anymore. I have caviar now. You know.
Dude, Five Guys.
I don't like
Five
McDonald's
Guys.
either, to be honest.
Five Guys is my life.
Though I will say,
Guys.
after I had a few drinks after Civil War, and I was walking home and I was hungry, so I actually went into McDonald's for the first time in a decade just to buy some fries. They're still pretty damn good fries.
They're fucking shit. You've tried Five Guys. Five Guys fries are literally.
I've had
food.
Five Guys London. Is Five Guys London shit?
No, I would say I don't know. I haven't even been to the one in Glasgow. Because it's nearby.
It's very subjective because everything's franchised and everything. You can get really nice, fresh McDonald's fries which are cooked and they're all crispy and nice, or you can get really horrible ones that have been sat there for 5 hours and are horrible. Sorry. Or same with Five Guys or any other fucking fast food place because they're all either shit or great. Shut up.
Right. Everybody's saying no spoilers. I'm assuming for Captain America, not for Five Guys. I'm willing to not spoil anything.
Okay, so whatever happens, do not mention that both Captain America and Iron Man's mother were called Martha, and that means they may become friends at the end.
That was a weird twist.
That was a really fucking weird twist, especially as neither of their mothers were called Martha.
Yeah.
So it's really odd they said that.
That was strange. That was
that really
strange.
bothered. No, that bothered me a lot. Not because it was a twist, because it wasn't exactly a twist, but it was just the idea that Batman was like, "Yes, you are dangerous." And it's like, "Oh, your mother's called Martha. Okay, I guess you're not."
I'm assuming this is a
now?
reference to the Batman vs Superman, which I haven't bothered to see because I don't want to see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If Batman, if Superman's mother had just been called like Mary, then he would have just stabbed that bastard, and just that would have been it.
Yeah, but even then, even just because he's called Martha, why does that mean he suddenly goes, "Oh, you're okay now," and then lets him go, and then goes off to save Superman?
Yeah, exactly. Had it been Mary, he wouldn't have been okay.
Yeah, but even if it was Martha, I don't get the reasoning there. Batman just goes, "Okay, you have a mother?"
Yes, you have a mother.
I too had a mother.
I mean, for God's sakes, no one tell Batman that Joker has a mother as well, most likely. As in fact do many people.
Yeah.
Joker just crawled out of hell.
Do you know Zod had a mother as well? I mean, gosh damn.
Actually, I don't think Zod did have a mother, and according to the current Superman universe, there wasn't like Superman the first natural birth in like forever.
That's a good point.
Like,
well, yeah, but
they were like coming out of pods or whatever.
Artificial insemination of still having a biological.
Zod is in fact the one person who doesn't have a mother, which is why Superman kills him at the end of Man of Steel. Because he doesn't have a mother, so it's fine. It all makes sense.
Oh, is that just Superman just go to fucking orphanages and just fucking?
I think basically Superman might actually be taking part in some sort of horrifying kind of Kryptonian racism here, where he just murders people who don't have mothers. That's what he does. He just goes around slicing
he was
them.
built to kill the Batman, and that's how you filter out Batman. Do you have a mother? No, bang, could be Batman. Or Iron Man, or 99% of superheroes and fantasy characters. And all characters in television, actually, thinking about it.
I thought Civil War was fun, and I'm not going to spoil anything, because everything I'm about to say is stuff that is either in or easily intuited from the trailer. The new Spider-Man is excellent.
I agree.
I like the new Spider-Man.
But you know what? The Civil War, Captain America Civil War did two things that I didn't... One thing that was kind of bad. One was they completely changed what the Civil War was about from the comics. Now, I don't read the comics, but the actual idea in the Civil War comics is that they have a big battle over should superheroes reveal their identities. And
broadly, yes.
In the current climate and the world that we live in, identity is a really big topic. And I think that a modern sort of take on that would be a really smart time to do a really clever thing. But no, it's about should the EU. It was Brexit. It was about Brexit.
But they couldn't. The problem is they really couldn't.
Of the EU was basically.
They really can't do that in the current Marvel universe because had the General what's-his-face, Thunderbolt Ross or whatever, come in the room and said, you all have to reveal your secret identities. Probably they'd have gone on a tape saying, well, I'm Steve Rogers and everyone knows that. I'm Tony Stark and everyone already knows that. I'm Wanda Maximoff, everyone already knows that. I'm Vision, I'm not really a person, so whatever. I'm Clint, I'm a public sector employee, so anyone can bloody look me. Does anyone around this table actually have a secret identity? No, actually.
Spider-Man's just sitting there with his mask on.
Yeah, Spider-Man's the only one. Even Black Panther, he's secret, and they just take his mask off.
They actually had to introduce two... In fact, before Black Panther and Spider-Man were introduced in Civil War, does anyone in the Avengers have a secret identity? Because everyone knows who Hulk is.
Do they?
Everyone... Yeah, they're all... They're all public sector employees who are known.
But they're not. They're their own. They're rogues. They're things. They got a... Basically, the whole film became an argument about should the what's the face? The big government-y people own the Avengers.
The UN.
Yeah.
And then,
which
like, the woman said to Tony, it's unacceptable, you're so unaccountable, you need to be controlled by the UN. And Tony should have logically replied, are you seriously telling me that when a rogue android was about to wipe out all life on Earth, the UN wouldn't have approved the Sokovia operation?
I really
of course they cocking would.
Yeah.
Your son would still be dead.
And they go into a big barn. The whole film was about a big Barney about this. And they're going, this doesn't make... Like, but you just basically go...
It was a really impressive Barney, though. It was a fantastic Barney.
No, they do good fight scenes.
I don't really think it was. I think the best thing I can say about that film, it was certainly directed, and the lighting. Oh, it was certainly lit. There's nothing really like if you show a clip from random Marvel things, I couldn't tell you which random Marvel thing.
No, none of the Marvel things are particularly.
There's no style or anything to any of them. They're very bland.
My thing with these movies, right, is I have a criteria on when I'd actually buy a movie. I rarely buy a movie. Most movies I watch on Netflix or rent, but my criteria for buying a movie is it has to be really significant. And never once have I wanted to buy a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Not because they're bad movies. They're good movies, I think, but they're just not... Like in 10 years, no one's going to be looking back going, ooh, Civil War, really defined...
Oh, I disagree. I don't think... Well, people won't be looking back saying specifically Civil War, but I think in 10 years, people look back and say that was one of the most ambitious attempts at cross-continuity universe buildings that cinemas ever attempted. Maybe, and they kept it going for like 20, 30 films.
Oh, yeah, no, it's going to be culturally significant, but I don't think any specific movie, because no one's going to... Like, nobody looks back on the original... Like, 8 years since the original Iron Man, nobody really watched... It's not really a classic or anything.
With Ant-Man... with Edgar Wright was behind it, and he was doing his own thing for 8 years, and then he got ripped off the thing. And then it's just like, well, okay, I guess these are going to just also be movies. But my main big issue with Captain America, and pretty much all Marvel films at this point, is that there is now literally negative character development. They are
I disagree. I disagree.
Really? Because I'm going to focus on my favourite character.
I think if you... The character development happens as a big macro trend across the thing. Like, you can see where the characters come from if you consider the events of their previous films. Rather than it being happening within an individual film, it's a consequence of previous films. Like, I understand going into Civil War... Steve Rogers is naturally going to be taking the position that he is because of the events of Winter Soldier. He trusted the government, he trusted S.H.I.E.L.D., and it turned out he was betrayed and he got completely screwed over because he put his faith in something. So now he's suspicious of an authority having influence over him. Whereas in Iron Man 3 and Avengers, and Avengers 2, Tony saw the consequences of him going off on his own and trying to do things all by himself, and it went horribly tits up. So when the opportunity comes for him to be put in check and there to be a proper regulatory body, he says, actually, this is a good idea, because I've tried going off and doing my own thing and it's repeatedly screwed up, so I'm going to support it. So you can see flowing from the previous films where the characters are coming from and why they're in opposition, and it's very, very elegant, but in my opinion.
But there's also stuff like the actual character of Tony Stark. He started as a warmongering moron. That's sort of his place. He was the warmongering dickhead who didn't give a shit about other people, and he was a massive addict of probably just alcohol, but hinted at other things. Although it's a Disney movie now, so probably never being addicted again. And then he gradually started saving the world, and gradually realized that there were things more important to him. And if he had he helped with the Avengers Institute because the initiative. There we go. Because basically he wanted to leave. He wanted out. He was like, I'm going to help you get these new guys because I want to go and live my life.
I was
now.
a real.
Oh no, I think he's addicted to the buzz now. He may have got over his gremlins for the alcohol, but he's replaced it with an addiction to the adrenaline and buzz of being an Avenger, and he pushed it so far. That's why the thing at the beginning involving Tony Stark's relationships is brought up that I'm not going to mention.
At the end of the Iron Man 3, which is my favourite Marvel film.
I really don't like Iron Man 3.
Nobody does.
It's okay.
Nobody really likes it, and I like it because it's actually a character piece. Tony Stark finishes his journey. He has gone from that warmongering fuckwit addict to someone who actually has stuff in his life that he genuinely cares about. He ditches his last addiction, which is the Iron Man suits. That was like his last addiction.
But he doesn't though. He relapses almost immediately, hence the events of Avengers 2.
Yeah, but it's never mentioned in the Avengers 2, and it comes up now. And he's sort of I can't stop doing this thing.
I think it would have been a bit crowded. It wouldn't have. There's not space for an Avengers 2 because there's a lot of stuff happening. It's already a crowded film.
Yeah, but take Tony Stark out of an aggressive role in the Avengers. What I would have done, I would have him never don an Iron Man suit for like 4 or 5 films, and then have him have to get in one later on. You have that constant
Well, no,
tease of him going back.
I got annoyed in like this Captain America Civil War because, I mean, it's not. See, Gwyneth Paltrow, I think literally it isn't a case of they don't want to write Pepper Potts in, but literally they can't get Gwyneth Paltrow to come back and do it because she's busy or the scheduling issues.
It's
or
most
something.
likely she's too expensive. They're trying to cut down some of this money now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have to fight. They have to like write in some awkward way to explain why she's not in it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel natural. It feels very like, oh, we couldn't get Gwyneth Paltrow.
See, this is why she should have kept running the company. If she kept running the company, then it could have been that she was just on a thing, and then you record a very short scene with her, if need be, and you have the grown-up. You can have.
I never minded that so much. The one that kind of I think sticks out more is why Natalie Portman's constantly missing. Like every time Thor comes to Earth, Natalie Portman's basically not there 80% of the time.
He's getting a new love interest and everything.
I
Oh, is
really
it?
dislike the Thor movies.
I don't like the Thor movies. I like Thor movies because they don't actually have anything to hinge on. Like, the Avengers have, look at all the superheroes fighting. Captain America tends to be a bit more, look at the, especially 2, which I really liked, was look at this spy thriller, which I kind of like. Iron Man is a very nice character piece, but Thor is just sort of like, look at the CGI! And you're like, nobody cares.
I like it because it's simple. It's a very simple story. It's basically, Thor 1 is fantastically simple. It's just bloke as an arsehole needs to learn to not be an arsehole anymore.
Thor has the DC problem. Because one of the reasons I like Marvel over DC is because Marvel is mainly grounded characters. They're mainly the slight mutants, or they're people who've made suits, or whatever. While most of DC are these mythical creatures from all the planets, or worlds, or universes, or whatever, with these magical powers. You know, and I always feel like Marvel's a lot more grounded, but then Thor's sort of one of the odd ones out, where he is this mythical creature from another world, and he just feels... It's like Batman. Like, I fucking love Batman. He's my favourite superhero, but every time I see him in a bigger DC universe, I never feel like he belongs, because the Batman universe is so grounded and gritty inherently that...
Apart from the Lego Batman universe, which is the best Batman universe.
I agree completely.
But the Lego Batman, the Batman sort of universe is so grounded. Then you've got this ridiculous like other superheroes, which are just all these mythical creatures, and Batman feels like he doesn't fit into DC, and vice versa. Thor just feels a bit out of place in Marvel.
But you see, that issue extends further into the actual structure of the universe themselves. So I don't like Guardians of the Galaxy. I fucking love the soundtrack, but I don't enjoy the film Guardians of the Galaxy because it doesn't feel like it fits in with the rest of Marvel. And now they keep going, all these universes are connected and having to say that. If Guardians of the Galaxy was like, it's its own thing, I'd be like, it's a great film. I kind of enjoy that. I think it's got some problems, but it's got great stuff. But when you've got, like, literally, like, one of the key scenes of Avengers 1 is Tony Stark suffocating in space. That becomes a whole thing about his character. That's one of the key scenes. And then in Guardians of the Galaxy, you can survive in space for a while. Yeah, you just get a bit cold. There's the inconsistencies, These are different things. Because that's the thing, is this is why I don't like comic books, is because you're just basically going, alright, we've got a god, we've got a fucking magician coming up, we've got this smart guy, we've got fucking Satan himself. It's just all these everything. It's a big pot of, everything.
And there's a lack of consistency between all these things.
There's no... But the thing is, they're trying to connect consistency. This is when Doctor Who fails miserably. It's when it tries to add consistency between things that don't need it. That doesn't need to be there.
Well, because
it's all...
Rusty did a good job at that.
What?
I think Rusty did a decent enough job at that.
I think he did.
I think it's only went wrong with Moffat.
I think they've done very good jobs, but I still think that every now and then you get an episode where you go, no, that made literally no sense. Like, there's a solar flare about to wipe out the Earth.
I think it happens way more with Moffat
Trees.
than it ever did with Russell T Davies.
The worst episode of Doctor Who is that stupid Trees one with Peter Capaldi, where the Earth is protected.
Love and Monsters. Love and Monsters is worse.
Right, two things. One, fuck you, and two, Love and Monsters is brilliant.
Love and Monsters has terrifying paving slab blowjobs in it.
Yes.
It's no.
But it also has copious amounts of Jeff Lynne. So I do like
For God's sake.
Love and Monsters.
Paving slab blowjobs, Dan.
Yeah, okay.
You
right.
can't. No.
In the Forest of whatever the fuck it's called, the Forest of the Night, whatever the fuck that Doctor Who episode is called, Clara convinces the Doctor to let children die because otherwise they'll miss their mums, when no more than 15 feet away from her is Danny Pink, her lover, and an orphan! In front of her is the Doctor, her fucking best friend, and an orphan! And she's Clara, who's got a dead mum! It's just so annoying! I'm like, it's like, what the fuck? That episode
It's not
is
even the worst
so
episode
awful.
in that season.
That is
Kill
so
the Moon
fucking
is
awful.
worst. Kill the Moon is
Kill the
worse.
Moon is a semi-decent episode that then
You know-
goes into, hey, abortion's bad for some reason.
This is why Doctor Who loses me completely, because he has these like I really liked the Christopher Eccleston. That was when I sort of got into Doctor Who, and I really liked that because it was very
Happy
it was
season.
Camp.
It was very
camp.
grounded.
It was camp.
It was camp, but it was grounded.
Yeah, so was
and
camp
it was
stuff.
like
So was
Yeah,
most
couple of bad
Batman stuff.
episodes. Generally a good street. Very good season.
Yeah.
well, no, because I had like one of my favorite episodes was the fucking I can't remember the name. The Where's My Mummy?
Empty Child.
Empty
Or
Child.
Doctor Dance.
That was Stephen Moffat's episode.
Yeah,
But that
he's a better
felt-
writer than he is a better lead.
Well, that's what I've always said, is that Stephen Moffat can write the best plots that Doctor Who has, and Russell T Davies can write the best characters that Doctor Who has, and when they're working together, they made the best stuff.
Yeah.
They absolutely made the best stuff. And when they're working separately, you've got stuff that's either stupid character heavy, or, like, because Russell Davies didn't come up with really great plots, and Moffat really struggles with his characters. And so, in between, when it was like Moffat episodes in Russell Davies' era, that's when they shone. That's when you got Blink.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's when you got...
Moffat. I think can't write an arc that's got a satisfying and properly built up conclusion to it. I never like his endings.
I like that he has a bit sort of like a few things going on and not everything gets resolved. I quite like that. But yeah, he sort of doesn't do an ending. He does. But what's beyond this point? It's very much a princess is in another castle sort of way of writing. But that's just a
Yeah, but then he forgets where he left it and it just comes back. So we just kind of have like the Doctor's to dive into his own timeline to rescue Clara, an error from which he can never escape and which will erase him from reality and and then he picks up Clara and waddles her off, and then we join him next season and they're escaped from his own timeline.
Yes. Can I point out?
No one bothered to explain how.
I'd like to point out that is one of my favourite things that Moffat does. I love... Well, Maury's not that sort of one, but when he actually does a cliffhanger, and the cliffhanger's like, the thing's going to happen, and then the next episode starts completely differently, so it feels like time has actually passed, and there's actually been something happening. I like
Only if it explains roughly how that was solved.
Yeah, but I do...
Right.
I mean, he didn't do that with Sherlock. He didn't do how Sherlock... Because it became such a big thing. How did Sherlock survive? How did Sherlock survive? So they sort of glossed over it. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, really. Sherlock survived. You know he survived. The how... It's how did the magician do the trick? It's the trick that's more impressive, and it's the trick that we care about. But when
The trick is less impressive when the trick was all done with CGI post-production.
I will point out, when you go to a timeline thingy, that's not a trick. That was just a thing that happened, and they completely glossed over it. That's not great. I mean, Red Dwarf did a great job of this with their most recent series, when they had a few times when Chris Barry was trying to explain what happened at the end of Series 8, which was the big cliffhanger where they sort of ended it. And he keeps getting interrupted doing it. And the audience are just like, ah! You actually get audience noises that are like, fuck you! We want to hear this thing. But it's beautiful. It's like, he's like, well, that thing with the nano-eating virus. Like, and then listeners like, hang on, we're getting a message. And it just sort of never comes up again. That's a beautiful way of doing it. I think there is an elegance in doing it that way. Sometimes Moffat gets it right. Sometimes he doesn't get it right. But I will fight anyone to death who doesn't think The Forest of the Night is the worst episode. The plot is, trees appeared everywhere, rip up buildings, destroy most of the infrastructure of the Earth, because a solar flare is about to hit the Earth, and the trees create an oxygen airbag, because oxygen plus fire is happy times for everyone, that the solar flare bounces off of, and then the trees will vanish away because
Yeah.
trees are sentient.
Didn't you see the Sontaran stratagem episode in Poison Sky? If you just burn a fire in the top of the atmosphere, everyone's fine underneath it.
Yeah, because all the gas was up there.
We've already established you can just burn the entire world and it's fine. That's good, actually. It helps.
But this is
Assuming
what-
no one's in a
Burn the
plane.
I would like
ozone
to point out
layer. We
what-
don't need
But
that.
all trees are sentient, alive, watching and protecting the Earth, and can somehow get this random girl that was lost. And also, there's a heavy message of don't take kids shouldn't be on medication, which I think is kind of a fucked up thing to say. And also, there's the whole scene where Clara convinces the doctor to let children die because otherwise they'll be sad.
Like, because I started watching that season of Doctor Who after
and
not
there's a bit where there's a tiger about to attack them, and Danny Pink flashes a torch in its eyes, and then it goes away, and then they just have a conversation. Nobody's freaked out. There was a tiger at 3 feet from them.
Oh, it's just like that season was when I started watching Doctor Who again because I thought I didn't like Matt.
That's the series
No,
where
that's
I
a terrible
stopped.
season to start rewatching.
No, I know. This is my point. Because you see, I kind of went off sort of the later Tennant stuff and Matt Smith because I felt it got a bit too silly, I guess, at least for what I liked about Doctor Who.
Oh god, I think
liked
Tennant got too fucking miserable at the end of his run.
Well, no, he did get he
yeah,
got too
fucking
miserable.
lonely god.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that was I didn't like that either. But I kind of liked the more great. I said I really liked the Empty Channel. You know, that kind of really grounded, kind of more serious stuff. That was like more about. I really liked that episode because it was this kind of supernatural thing, and then they just discovered it to be something technical and rational.
Yeah, which is what most of Doctor Who is. It's Scooby-Doo.
Which I loved that, but then I kind of got a bit mopey, and then I thought Matt Smith was a bit too wee, and I didn't really like that very much. And I thought, Capaldi's a bit of a cynical twat, maybe he's a bit more like, he could be a bit more like sort of fucking Christopher Excellent.
Yeah.
And I sort of watched it, and it went, moon egg, okay, tree. Said, all right.
Yeah.
Hey everyone,
Okay.
look over there for a moment. Oh wait, the moon egg hatched while we weren't looking, but we
But it
couldn't
was just
afford to
all
animate
these,
it.
like,
Don't
but
worry,
it was-
because that thing birthed a moon of equal density.
Yes,
Immediately.
the thing that just birthed out of an egg immediately bore a new
It's
egg. And
just-
don't ask where the shell went, because it just didn't go anywhere,
It's
alright?
just
Fuck
all
you.
these ridiculously overly large scale things, which don't really make any sense. Because the empty child thing was just like, wasn't it just like a thing had crashed?
Yeah, and it was
World War II.
it was a hospital ship had crashed, and it was the nanomachines
Yeah.
that repaired things. The first thing they found was a dead child. They thought that's how things were supposed to be, so anything that touched it, nanomachines transferred over and turned them into the gas mask child.
And
They
that
thought that was
simple-
human physiology.
Simple, small scale, fucking really creepy, and they figured out what was going on. It was like, oh my god, what a twist, And in this, it's just what? It's a space. What the fuck, space egg?
Yeah.
What tree? It's just keep it small, simple, small and simple.
I can deal with epic if it's like, if you really commit to it. Like, I will stand on the hill and die for the fact that Utopia, Sound of Drums, and Last of the Time Lords are absolutely fantastic.
I will stand with you. I will say that is the strongest Tennant era.
I love that three-part. So many people think,
it's not- it's not.
Last.
'Cause you can
Some
go back
people
further.
say they didn't like Last of the Times. I love Last
Go
of the
back
Time
further.
Lords.
Include because that is the strongest run of Doctor Who ever. Is
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Human Nature,
family of blood,
Blink, Utopia,
Blink.
Sound of Drums,
Yeah.
and
Can
Time
you
Lords.
explain some of these episodes to me? Because you say names just glosses over me. Because I've sort of seen these
Okay.
a while back, and I
Human Nature and Family Blood is the one where the Doctor goes human and ends up being in a World War II. He's a teacher in a boarding school at World War II.
World War One, damn.
It
Vaguely
is World
remember
War One.
that.
You're right. Sorry, I get confused.
It's 1913.
1913, and he is
Okay,
Mr.
vaguely
John
remember
Smith.
that.
Blink is the first appearance of the Weeping Angels.
the weeping,
The
yeah,
pants
that.
shitting good episode.
Once again, for some reason, like that was another sort of horror-y one, but like it was a simple,
Yeah.
really
So
enclosed.
Moffat is great at going, hey, I've got an
Yeah.
idea of a thing that scares me. Let's make it scare you as well.
Well, they just they
He
work
also was. Oh no, sorry, that wasn't Madame de Pompadour. That was the previous season. No, I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
Madame de
Sorry, that was.
Pompadour
That
was,
was.
They
that
work
that
well.
was-
I
that
think
was
they
the
work
season
well
before.
small scale. I think
Doctor
they work
Who's always
better small
worked.
scale.
I mean, I'm constantly scripting and writing and planning a series of Doctor Who, and it is entirely small scale. It's got. I sort of have more sort of grand, epic-y things, but I do keep it as a small personal thing. I mean, Moffat kept that on with Series 5 when he first got hold of Matt Smith, because the finale, The Big Bang, is literally them basically just jogging around a museum trying to save the universe from this museum. And it's such a small, tiny little episode, and it's so the stakes are so incredibly high for a small character-driven episode, and that is his best finale and his best ending and his best everything.
Though he did subsequently go on to forget that Daleks could actually say mercy all along.
Yes.
He then forgot that the Daleks
never
were
had to
allowed to
say
say
that,
mercy.
only River
Because subsequently, fuck it, Daleks can't say mercy anymore. It's really remarkable if
Only
they can.
Okay.
River Song heard that.
Can I just make a point in that I fucking hate Daleks and Cybermen?
You can hate the Cybermen. My entire series is based around the Daleks.
I hate Daleks.
My entire series is based. So what? Okay, I'm gonna actually pitch everybody now. This is a thing I'm actually genuinely liking. It's kind of a secret. So well done, you hearing this. My plot of Doctor Who is that somebody. It starts off the first episode as somebody is buggering with the Doctor's timeline, and he's being basically erased from existence. He builds the TARDIS into a paradox machine to keep him in existence. That somehow generates a new companion for him, who gets ripped out of a different timeline. And then when he finally emerges from this machine to have a look around the world, everything's fucked. The Daleks have completely taken over, and so the universe is under Dalek rule, so they are a constant, never-ending threat you cannot beat. The only way you can beat this is to fix the timeline. He has a limited time before the paradox machine stops. How the fuck does he do it? And the whole series based off that arc. And then so it's you've got nice... most of the episodes are very people huddled being scared from the Daleks. So the Daleks are a constant threat through the entire series, even though you very rarely actually come across them. I think. That's my pitch for fixing the Daleks. I'm writing it.
It's just Daleks inherently, right? They're a character that was made like 50 years ago, and it just
You can
kind of-
still write really good Dalek episodes, though.
No, but
between
no.
between Dalek, Bad
No,
Wolf, Parting of
no.
the Ways, Sound, not the Sound of Drums, Stolen Earth. Stolen Earth is a fantastic Dalek episode.
Now I'm going to stand on my hill
Okay.
and fight it to death for saying that as an awful episode.
You know the new
It's I know the
companion trailer?
three-parter is dreadful. Turn Left is okay. Parting of the Ways is dreadful. Stolen Earth doesn't really work like as an episode, but as just like a Dalek thing where the Daleks actually feel like they present real threat and everyone's genuinely terrified of them, it works in that regard.
Well, they did a good job of that with what was it? What was that episode called? Oh, Asylum of the Daleks. That was a good one for actually having slightly scary Daleks. Although human form Daleks.
Yeah, that was good for scary
don't do
Daleks at
human form.
least.
Don't do human form anything. It's horrible. I hate that. That's a trope that I can't stand. But yeah, I think the rule of Daleks, and it's a very simple rule, is one Dalek versus you is a nightmare, and is difficult and is hard. An army of Daleks is a nuisance that you can swat away with Deus Ex Machina. Because there's no other way of beating them.
Yeah.
Unless you have the Doctor wage war on the Daleks for thousands of years. Which, admittedly, probably Moffat will do at some point in the last series. But, yeah, you have... I've always run the rule of, if you ever want to... Because another thing I've done to Daleks is because they are supreme, they have sort of taken over. And they've slightly split into maybe factions. I'm not giving it a spoil too much. But they've also... They've evolved as a creature. So they're not entirely necessary that they need to use their suits. We get a little bit of nice more aliens horror with them. So they've got like a tank mode and a fast scout mode. And so basically I've taken what they already have and you gently tweak it, and now you have one Dalek who's not in his suit. You're on a spaceship that's crashing into a planet. You've got 40 minutes until it hits the planet surface. You've got to escape and there's a Dalek haunting you. There's an episode. And it's small and it makes the Dalek scary.
Right, you know in the new companion reveal, where she's
Yes.
just complaining about the Daleks, and that's literally my opinion of the Daleks, constantly. Because as much as they can be written to be threatening, they're these big, bulky, ridiculous things that can barely move at any speed with one tiny little fucking gun.
Yeah, which is why I added because they are horrific technical monsters inside. Now, if they stopped being completely dependent on those machines and made them a war machine out of it, so they were have
this
an
is my
outside and an
problem,
inside,
though.
you just...
This is my problem with Doctor Who. Because inherently the Daleks could have evolved so much, but they're so inherent on this fucking nostalgia thing that they just keep these fucking Daleks looking exactly the same as they did 50 years ago, even though they could have done so much. They could look completely different.
See, my
But
favourite
they want to
plot
fucking
line
bank on the wank on this nostalgia thing.
My favourite plot line dropped, and that was the Paradigm Daleks, the big fuckers, the ones that Matt Smith's Doctor was there to witness. The one where my Ironside Dalek comes from, that episode, where they...
The
pop
Power
into
Rangers
it.
Daleks.
The Power Ranger Daleks. I fucking love the idea of a race of Daleks that declare war on the Daleks because they're not good enough. So you have these Supreme Daleks against the shitty Daleks. And so you have a Dalek civil war. Boom, we got episodes from that sort of thing. With a
But they're
natural
still
conflict.
Daleks.
Yeah, but those were actually... you know, like they really like got the really big bump at the bottom and like the smaller one at the top, so they look kind of like hunchbacks and a bit weird. That's because half of it was made Imperial, half of it was made metric. It's a fuck up. They're supposed to be sort of normal size and bright colours, or maybe bigger and bright colours. But yeah, they actually had them like half built the wrong way.
I don't like at least Cybermen to me. Like I remember one of the first Cybermen episode I saw, and it was one of the David Tennant ones, and it was just I remember them being really fucking creepy, just kidnapping people and fucking ripping their fucking brains out and sticking them into these robots, and trying to get this humanity out of these robots who don't really know who they are, and like being terribly confused and scared inside, and that was kind of horrific.
Yeah.
But the Doctor Who has just this habit of, instead of doing these, like, as I say, fucking one and stuff, like these interesting enclosed stories, these singular, enclosed one-off things. But the Daleks and Cybermen and shit like that, it's always like, we've defeated the Daleks forever, and then they come back, and it's just like, it just feels like you're pandering and you're wanking off.
The Cybermen have kind of been allowed to evolve a little bit. They brought in Neil Gaiman to write Silver Nightmare, and he did a pretty good job giving a new power set to the...
favourite Cyberman episode, because it actually makes them a threat, and it makes
they
them
are properly threatening now.
But
it's
I
not
like
in
the
new
what they
Cybermen.
do, and that's my favourite thing about that episode, is it's not in what they do, it's the fact that they show in space a galaxy that's been blown up, and they go, what the hell happened there? They're like, oh, that's how we beat the Cybermen last time. Like, they sacrificed a fucking galaxy. That shows a fucking threat. And that's what, if you've got these beings that are absolutely fucking everywhere, that's what you need. You need to show...
And if you want to fight something, fight them in an abandoned theme park, because that's fundamentally pretty spooky place.
That's a pretty good place to fight them.
That's it to me with Doctor Who. I've never liked that scale. I don't like this big, ooh, it's a terrifying race to be. I don't care.
Yeah.
I like these small and close stories, and they didn't do enough of them.
I think
for
you
me
can
to
do
really
both.
get
You
into
just
it.
have to not beat them at the end of every episode.
But I think as well, like it's just
Because when you've got like oh, it's infinite Daleks and the Daleks, and the Doctor goes in there, twiddles some levers, and fucks off, and the Daleks will explode. That pisses me off. When it's Nightmare in Silver, where it's like Simon have taken over a planet and they beat him by blowing the fucking planet up, you go, all right, yeah, I'll buy that.
well, there's that as well. But it's that like Cybermen to me are only horrifying because of how they make the Cybermen.
Yeah.
Cybermen and how they just like it's once again like the Daleks in that. They're these fucking really old made design things from the fucking 60s, 50s, you know, and they barely changed their functionality to the fact where Daleks move at like a mile a fucking hour and fucking Cybermen can barely walk faster than an old man hobbling along with a fucking cane.
Yep.
And it just makes them like, it's BBC special effects. They always look shit, and when these Cybermen are just slowly trotting along, clunking about with this
it's Terminator theory though. They'll never stop coming. Sure, they don't have to run because there's just
like if they were more relentless. But then again, one Cyberman coming after you feels more scary than an army because you know you can.
But no, but it's not even. It's not even that they're slow. It's that they're so clunky, and I kind of get the story mode for that, but that's the problem. They never change them in the fucking 50 years.
Nightmare in Silver changes them. They are fucking fast in Nightmare in Silver. And
actually, my favourite Cyberman in New Who is actually the one in Pandorica Opens, the broken remains of the Cyberman,
again,
and what it can do on its own.
One thing is scary because it's you.
Not even one Cyberman, like a few bits of leftover Cyberman, a helmet, one wrist laser, a leg on their own can just like completely pin down the Dr. Amy. That's brilliant.
It's most likely going to be a trope, but the way everything works is if it's main character versus something. It's basically your power levels stay at the same. So if it's a million somethings, they're just millions of weak, pathetic things that you can just vaporize away. But when it's main character versus one thing on its own, then that person can match the main character. But if you have more people, it splits between them. And so the more enemies and stuff they come across. This is why I like Star Trek, because Star Trek have like the Klingons and shit. There's going to be infinite Klingons, so you have to do diplomacy and you have to sort it out that way around. There's no, apart from like the Borg, but then again you have the whole universe rallies against the Borg, because who the fuck would side with the Borg? There isn't really like thousands of races that just want to take over everything. It's just people with diplomacy.
I loved in DS9 that fucking war. Because that wasn't just about diplomacy, that was about fucking espionage and like abuse, and in the pale moonlight just a fucking
so good.
Yeah, and it's that. And it's that seriousness. Whenever I watch Doctor Who, it always feels like it never really takes itself seriously. And these few episodes
No, you see, I'm okay with Doctor Who when it doesn't take itself seriously. I just don't like Doctor Who when it tries to take itself seriously. And it tries to pretend it's deeper and bigger budget than it is.
I don't think it should try to pretend it's deeper and bigger budget than it is, but at the same time, I don't like it pretending that it's this fucking...
I want it to be a nice character piece that's a bit camp with some silly aliens. I'm totally down with it.
Yep, I'd be fine with that.
So that's not my thing. And that's fair enough. If that's not... Just because it's not my thing doesn't mean it's bad.
I want an examination of humanity, modern humanity, through the eyes of the future. Which is what I'm writing as well. I'm writing Star Trek as well. I like Star Trek. I've got a really good pilot for Star Trek. Maybe I'll share
Apparently this, the new Star Trek series on HBO, the online exclusive thing, they won't be putting it out like Netflix do. Because Netflix will go, oh, Better Call Saul's out, here's the whole season.
Yeah.
And House of Cards. They're not doing that. They're going to be like weekly, everything releases.
That's good. I much prefer to watch it like that. Because Always Sunny just came on Netflix, and like in a day I'd watched all of Series 11. I'm like, oh, well, that's done.
Well, no, I don't mind doing that, but the reason I like these time releases a bit more is because I like discussing them.
Yeah, it gives you something to actually chat about. It's not like, where are you up to? It gives each episode a bit more prominence. I actually prefer a staggered release.
Like, Game of Thrones is great for that, because you have this fucking people discussing this and having debates and all that. But if it was like, it's like, because I can go through House of Cards in 2 days. I just have it on the background.
Yeah.
It's like it's like, oh, where you got to House Gods? I'm on episode 3, and I'm sat there going, what the fuck happened in episode 3? And I'm like, oh, it's something really good in episode 7. You can't really, you know, you lose that.
The ability to discuss. Also, there's a bit of an excitement to sitting down and watching something you're quite excited by. But if you start,
I get that with Gotham. I'm doing that with Gotham right now.
Yeah.
I love Gotham.
I stopped watching Gotham just because I fucking just forgot to stop. I kind of got through halfway through season 2 and forgot about it.
It's getting better and better.
I know, it was good when I watched it.
It's not my thing. I'm more of a...
I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well.
I've just found out that Louis C.K.'s TV show on FX, Louis, is on Amazon to like buy download because it's never really been in the UK or anywhere other than America. And now there's actually like a way of buying it, and I'm going to buy it all. It's really expensive. It's like £25 or £20 a season. But that is one of the best fucking TV shows of all time ever. And it's totally just worth watching. It's totally just worth watching.
On the subject of Amazon.
On the subject of Amazon.
Oh my goodness, we're going to talk about gaming news of some description.
Yeah, we have been talking about Doctor Who for like 40 minutes.
And Civil War before that. It turned into a movie podcast.
It did.
There.
For a brief, that is the thing. Well, we never said we're a gaming podcast. We're just the podcast.
It's Podcats.
That's true. We don't.
don't really talk about
in
cats,
fairness,
though.
on Twitch, it is categorized under gaming talk shows.
Yeah, but that's so Twitch doesn't boot us the fuck off Twitch.
That is, yeah.
Hey, can I do a bit of Amazon news that's TV related so we can segue further in?
Okay, go on.
Jeremy Clarkson's new show is called Gear Knobs. No, it's not. It's called The Grand Tour.
Why isn't it called Gear Knobs?
Because the BBC said they'd sue them if they included gear in the name.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
They could have just called it Knobs. That would have been quite good as well.
Car knobs.
They could just call it
Knobs.
three knobs in a car.
Yeah, no, car knobs. Car knobs would be great.
Car knobs. I'd be totally down for
I'd
that.
watch
Way
car
better.
knobs.
Shift knobs, whatever. Just work knobs in there somewhere.
Yeah. There's
Engine knobs.
their show, it starts, they're doing like a tour, so every episode's going to come from a different country, and they're building a big tent and having a little bit of studio audience. They're going to record that, and then they're going to have the episode sort of to go with that. But they revealed how much... Do you know how much they've spent on this show?
Probably too much.
Over how many episodes?
It's 3 seasons of, I don't know how many episodes each.
As in how much they paid them, or how much it made it cost?
They're spending on these 3 seasons, because they've booked 3 seasons of this thing already.
Including the wages of the 3.
Whole complete thing.
And the amount it cost for like the exclusive...
Shall I put it in
Everything.
context? I think Doctor Who is like 10 million a season, maybe a bit more than that. I'm not entirely sure, but I know that Game of Thrones is around 60 million a season.
I would say maybe 125 million.
So you're saying like 2 seasons of Game of Thrones?
I don't think it's that high. No.
125 million.
It is $160 million for
What?
3 seasons. That is almost the same. It's like a tiny bit less than 3 seasons of Game of Thrones.
What?
So that'd be about £110,000. So I was really bloody close.
Okay,
I'm
first,
pleased with that.
Okay, wait. First of all, Game of Thrones is a lot of highly paid actors,
Yeah,
a
loads
lot
of
of
extras,
locations,
lot of
Yeah,
CGI.
none of them are in high-powered sports cars.
a lot of sets, a lot of like really good storytelling, and this fucking like these big action scenes, like movie level shit.
Yeah.
A lot of movie level shit, and World Tour is a car show.
Yes.
A good
Yeah,
comedy
cars are
car show.
expensive.
Yeah, but they don't buy them. They never
Maybe
buy
they do
the cars.
now.
Maybe they do now.
Maybe they just start buying. Yeah, but usually they just like lease them.
Sorry, I've made a horrible mistake. It's 160 million pounds, not dollars.
Oh, I was further
worse.
off then.
That's a lot of
worse.
money. So that's actually probably
Maybe they now.
more
It sounds
than
like they
Game
are
of
now
Thrones.
buying the cars, and then Clarkson just gets to take them home at the end of the episode, like
That's
a party bag, but with a car.
$231 million US.
That is.
Wait,
Game
what
of Thrones
the
is
budget of
$60
Civil
million
War?
per season, which means that this actually does have a budget bigger than Game of Thrones. Yeah. Way bigger than Game of Thrones.
It's probably a really expensive tent. Like how in Fallout 4 you make everything out of material, out of money. You basically go and find money, and you use that to make your beds and your clothes and everything.
Okay.
Maybe that's what they're doing with like the tent and everything.
Okay, Avengers: Age of Ultron. The
just
budget for
gonna
that
be
was
made of money.
$250 million. So the budget for the
$250
3
million,
seasons.
yeah?
Yeah. So the budget for these 3 seasons of World Tour.
3 knobs in a car.
Which
is
230,
about
$230 million.
Yeah, about pretty close to the of fucking Avengers. And as much as I love those three, I'm sorry, it's a comedy car show. How the fuck are you spending that much money? What are you doing?
Yeah. Can I also point out that Game of Thrones does a lot for its budget if they can do 3 seasons for around the same price as one Marvel film? That's pretty good going.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, I mean, because if you've seen some of those episodes, there's that big episode last season with like this White Walker army invasion and the fuck, like, see, it's movie level. It's movie level CGI, and because you expect sort of a lack of quality in TV when you get that in Doctor Who saying that there's a lack of special effects quality and there's
that's more the BBC though. The BBC's everything's on
it's very common in all TV. I find because it's just a lower budget thing, but Game of Thrones makes it work. And how are they spending that much? How are they spending that much money? Maybe we're being really mean and there's like literally like 50 episodes a season and they're actually being really frugal or something.
Maybe they're just going to fabulous places and making their sort of car show and taking an incredibly large amount of money home each because they know they can because they are massive worldwide stars.
This brings up an interesting point as well. How are Amazon affording this?
Because oh look, I'm glad you asked that, Matt. Because as I found out today, 17% of the entire US population has Prime memberships of like $99 a year.
Yeah, but Prime memberships. The problem is Prime isn't just Prime.
54 million people in the US alone.
Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, right. Okay, you as Amazon, you're paying Amazon £80 a year for Prime. For that, you get the cloud storage, you get the 1-day delivery, you get like a music cloud service, you get the...
And 99% of people won't be using most of that.
And original shows and stuff, but this is the problem. How, for £80 a year, which I want to point out is about the same price as Netflix, right? They're making all these original shows, and they're paying for all these music licenses, and they have this big network of delivery people, and all this shit. How are they affording to spend $230 million on a car show?
Because Prime alone makes $4.5 billion a year. That's how. Yeah, in the US. Just the US. Yeah, but over $4 billion.
Yeah, but are they gonna make a profit on this Top Gear show? Do you think are enough new people going to sign up?
Yes, because Top Gear has a huge international audience in countries with poor Amazon Prime penetration. They're going to shift Amazon Prime on the strength of Top Gear in the countries where Amazon hasn't been able to make headway. Yep. It's a fantastically good idea.
Yeah, but do you think they should have spent that much money?
GTA 5 cost $170 million to develop and market. If you want some more comparisons.
And that's full of microtransaction shit. There's going to be no microtransaction shit in Gear Knobs.
Okay, can we include... okay, and
there's no microtransactions in Game of Thrones either.
There are microtransactions in Nintendo's latest games. Animal Crossing is being called... Oh, they're calling them... This is a beautiful phrase. They are calling Animal Crossing, and I think it's Fire Emblem on mobile phones, free to start. Wow. They don't fucking hide it.
Nintendo are fuckers.
Have you seen, like, the sales graph? Someone pointed this out to me, and I've never seen it before. And it's the Nintendo home console sales. And you just see there's, like, a decline.
I'd like to provide a sound effect before you do this.
Pretty much. There's the NES, N64, GameCube to Wii U. It's just this huge decline. The Wii is a massive random spike, but everything else is pretty much a consistent decline. And you're just there going, oh, I see why you've decided to go mobile, because that's currently where the money is. Right. I know this is a bad thing to say.
I just looked that up.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Right. I know this is a bad thing to say, but God, I want the mobile market to pop. I just want it to...
Yeah.
And then, that's it. That's a lot of the game industry. Just shat its pants, because they're all... Everything's got its own fucking tie-in mobile up with microtransactions. Everything's got this bullshit.
No, it's fine. You know what we'll do then? Everyone in the world can just go and buy Parkitect. Because Parkitect love and joy.
Planet Coaster. Planet Coaster's also love and joy. Train Tools.
I haven't got around to that yet. I've just been putting a lot of hours into Parkitect this week.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
It's so beautiful. It's lovely. I've been modding the hell out of it too. Oh, so many new theme assets.
Didn't we start talking about Battlefield, and what the fuck, whatever those battle ones?
Yeah, then I think
we
we went to Civil War instead.
Yeah, but I think we realised that they don't fucking matter because they're just yearly release games that aren't that interesting.
I would like to just point out that there's something distinctly uncomfortable for me for Battlefield 1, which, not the fucking title, because that is a title that I just hate. I hate fucking... It's given the same name as first game.
Is it the choice of Seven Nation Army?
No, it's the use of... It's like a lot of these games are very fantastical and stuff, and the old Medal of Honor games were horror games because they were very dark. There were very few enemies. There was very little sound. There was a lot of plodding, and it was a war that was pretty fucking recent. When we first started doing war video games, there were wars that were pretty fucking recent. They were largely covered with a bit of respect. I mean, they got action heavy as they went into the PS2 and stuff. But when they first sort of started getting quite popular in the PS1 era, they were more like your dad's war films. They were very slow and they were very scary and they were very war as hell. But now with this sort of modern generation of war, it just feels like, isn't war brilliant? Look at all this war that people died in just more than 100 years ago. Wow, look at all these explosions and death, and it kind of...
Yeah, I did notice that there is, like mustard and chlorine gas did appear to feature into the trailer. Like, I'm not trusting you to do that tastefully.
See, the interesting thing, though...
From the people that made Medal of Honor Warfighter, you don't trust that to be
Well, obviously, it's kind of... There's an insensitivity there, but obviously, some of the other Battlefield games, they've been set in modern times, in modern wars. A lot of them, well, not even necessarily.
No, it's normally Modern Warfare, but that just means terrorists we've made up with foreign accents.
Yeah. But obviously, this is based on a real...
Yeah, this feels like it's going to be like... It's going to have the horror of Spec Ops The Line, but without the self-awareness of Spec Ops The Line.
Well, this is it. Looking at the trailer's very good too. It doesn't. That's the sort of point of Battlefield, and I'm fine with that. But, okay, we've all seen the last episode of Blackadder, have we not?
Yes.
Yes, it's glorious. It's beautiful.
Now, imagine instead of poppies appearing... Seven Nation
Army.
And then a guy comes with mustard gas or dancing around.
Yeah, it is like doing the phosphorus scene in Spec Ops The Line, but concluded with saying that was fucking awesome. We phosphorus the hell out of those people. Look at them burn, the stupid foreign bastards.
Thing, I am interested in a shooter set during World War One, but I kind of don't like how gratuitous it makes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the choice of score was really what set apart from it. Had they gone for a solemn, this is going to be horrendous and grim, but important.
Like, I'm bludgeoning this guy with a mace. Look how awesome plane combat was, when really there wasn't much plane combat in World War One, because most people were actually firing from their handguns, because they were using it for message and transport deliveries. And it just feels like they've gone, everything. And there's fucking guys in power armor with flamethrowers. Like, yeah, this is a thing. I mean, that was a German thing, if I remember right.
You see, I'm less...
Yeah.
You see, I mean, even though, it's a video game, fine, you can take your creative liberties and whatever. But I think, I'm concerned because I think it's going to give people I think it's going to mislead a lot of teenagers and, kids just into thinking World War One was completely different than it was, and missing the significance of how terrible that war was. I think, because obviously, these modern Battlefield and COD games, they are made up. It's, you're fighting terrorists, whatever, random, it's made up. And even though it's gratuitizing violence, which I think is fine, I think violence in video games is fine and it's fun and whatever. But when you're gratuitizing something, it's kind of like gratuitizing 9/11.
Yeah, which they've done. Which has totally been done. Of course there has.
Has it?
Yeah, oh my god, what's that twat from Twilight, the bloke? I can't remember his name. He's in a film that's some twatty love thing that's bullshit. And he ends up going, he goes up to the end of he goes up to see his dad at the end of the fucking film or something. I can't fucking remember. And then he's like, oh, I'm gonna have such a good time. And then it's 9/11 and he gets killed. And it's just such a shitty wank fest. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? It's like, oh, we're deep and edgy and stuff. And there's been a fair few films that have been sort of war films themselves were actually being made while the wars were still going on. I found this out a lot during for the Metal Gear Solid series. Every single episode's title was that of a war film. And I tried to tie a war film's title into what was going on in the episode. So everything is a World War II war film. That's just kind of a Hideo Kojima thing to do. But they were, making films, as the war started, about, hey, I hope this isn't going to be a big war. And, there were comedy films about World War II, 2 or 3 years into World War II. And that struck me as really odd. And
have you ever actually watched The Great Dictator? Chaplin's
I have. That
take on
speech
World War
is
Two.
one of the...
I love the speech. It's brilliant.
Somebody asks regarding World War II games and why are they okay?
But
And I don't-
it's respect. For an era, you kind of need respect. I mean, I would say something came to my mind the other day. I've always considered America to be quite a very pro-war kind of country because that's kind of what you are. That's a very thing. But the most popular television show of all time in America is MASH. It was the most watched TV show ever, and that is the most anti-war TV show ever made. And I find that very odd that is their most watched TV show, and not like.
I think there's a
24
lot of Bernie Sanders show. There's a lot of like underlying sort of like socialism and sort of that in America.
Oh
and I
yeah,
think
America
it's kind
has
of
huge
this-
potential. I mean, they're very young. Very young. We've just let them out of the paddock, really.
But it's this vocal minority of sort of this kind of, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
On the question of World War One versus World War Two,
Oh my god,
I'd
that's a
put forward-
fucking Marvel film ready to be made.
I
isn't it?
would put forward the suggestion that World War Two is a war where there is a fairly clearly defined aggressor and people defending themselves against
Yes.
aggressor.
I mean,
World
yeah,
War One is a tragedy of circumstances spiraling out of control,
Yep.
where everyone got dragged into something utterly horrendous that nobody really wanted to.
I mean, but this is it.
There
'cause
is no equivalent of the Nazis in World War One. The Germans, though they lost, were not the bad guys just because we were fighting them. They were pulled into this out of an escalating series of tragic events, just like everyone else was. It is the seminal tragedy, as the expression goes.
Well, this is
Whereas,
because obviously in World War II games, it's killing Nazis. That's
Yeah,
the World War
Nazis
II
are
game.
stormtroopers. They're literally Hitler. I mean, you can't get more Hitler than Hitler.
they are Karma's freebies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are, because it's
They're the zombies. You're just like, I don't give a shit. I'll murder these fuckers.
like Nazis are inherently defined culturally as the worst thing. Like, you know, there's no moral. Well, there is some moral dilemma there, but inherently the basic concept. I mean, because obviously a lot of Nazis were either conscripted or kind of manipulated by the German youth, and a lot of them probably were just doing it because they sort of had to or didn't really,
Yeah, or they would
But
have been shot.
What I would love to see in World War One actually would be a from the side of say the British, but focusing on the bits of World War One that we really don't like to talk about.
Yeah.
Like fire bombings,
Yeah.
for example. No one likes to talk about Dresden very much because we like to pretend that we, weren't necessarily that bad at the whole thing. If we're talking about World
but
War games,
I can totally imagine though it doing firebombings as you're firebombing. The pilot goes, "Woo, great!" and you're like, "Yeah," and that's it.
Yeah, the problem is, modern shooter games have kind of taught people that when they're in a plane and looking down through a night vision scope at a city, it's okay to just start bombing the shit out of it, and that's fine as long as no one's alive at the end of it. That's a fine
there was
thing.
a joke that Yahtzee told at the end of one of his recent videos, which I can't remember. It was something like, "What's the difference between a Syrian wedding and a Syrian terrorist camp?" I don't know.
Don't ask me, I'm Jack.
Don't ask me. I just drive the drone. That's
Yeah.
But I like that. I think that's a horrible thing. Oh, fuck this. Fuck this world and everyone involved in it. I'm out. I quit. Actually, I changed my mind. There's Lego and cake. But I think, right, basically, World War One is something you've got to actually be a lot more delicate with than World War Two. Because Nazis are kind of a free pass. Like, if you go, it's kind of, that was a thing recently. Yeah, but it was the Nazis. So, who gives a fuck? Whereas World War One is sort of, there's a lot of weird and varied combat in there. And it's fucking, like, DICE and EA and Battlefield.
Now, you know what I'd be curious, though, is sort of looking at it. I mean, obviously, it was a very gratuitous trailer and stuff, but I'd be interested to see if you actually play the game from basically every major side.
You most likely won't until the multiplayer. The story will most likely be America's involvement in saving the day.
But you see, because I'd be quite interested in a game where you kind of see every side and you sort of, even though if the gameplay is gratuitous somewhat, at least if you play as every side and you sort of kind of learn that no one was really the bad guys and they all sort of got roped into it, and it sort of teaches you this through gameplay as opposed to
back onto
dialogue.
the Uncharted thing of no one knows how to tell a story. Love Actually, the video game, taking the Love Actually format of lots of different stories that's kind of interconnect every now and then, I think is a great gameplay structure. And if they did if Battlefront did that for its, Battlefield's campaigns were always awful. But if they actually did something like that, and then they had you do jump between the different people, the different wars, and then you interact, and then you like one mission you gotta go capture people, and then you've captured a character you were playing as earlier, and then it's like, do you want to kill this guy? And you're like, oh shit, I don't know, I play as this guy. And then sort of that, you use the people's gameplay thoughts to change how they thought about the situation.
Well, yeah, because the idea is generally whoever the player's playing as, because they kind of think they're in the right, because that's the assumption, obviously. There's no Nazis there. So it's like, oh, I'm in the right, whatever. And then you get put in someone who's like, wait, I was just playing as them, but now wait, am I the bad guy? No, I'm just doing this for,
Yeah.
But I can totally, look, right, fucking, there's so many great opportunities in Battlefield games for them to do good stories, and then you never do, so I just,
oh god,
that'd be great, but they're just not going to do
they're
that.
not people like that. They're basically making it for extreme combat, so it's going to be lots of people running through trenches, out of trenches, getting into a plane, and then like rat-a-tat-tatting their way through enemy lines.
Killing a tank with a horse, because that sounds badass.
It's just gonna be a big sort of hey, war is awesome kind of thing that's gonna make me feel deeply uncomfortable.
It's gonna be that scene in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade where Indy's riding next to this big tank, and it's sort of this silly action scene.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine for Indiana Jones, but it's gonna be that kind of in World War I.
But he was against the Nazis all the time.
Yeah.
Fuck the Nazis.
Yeah, but it's gonna be that sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's when you because it's Battlefield, you also have level unlocks, and when you unlock hit level 15, unlocked mustard gas. Like that's going to be a moment in gaming, and we don't go back from that moment. If that becomes the thing, like because we can argue that maybe they'll hand it tastefully, but it is DICE, it is EA, and it is a Battlefield game.
In Rainbow Six Siege, there was a character with mustard gas.
Yes.
Now this the character called Smoke, and it's never said that it's mustard gas, but it's really, really heavily implied.
Yes.
That it's mustard gas, and it's this whole idea of like, his intro video is him walking along and basically saying, oh, you don't know what. I mean, it wasn't. It's they have this. The entire game is this serious tone.
Yeah.
But it's a multiplayer shooter. It's not really. There's no story or ethics there. It's a gameplay mechanic, and that's what it's built as. It's a gameplay mechanic. There's no story to it. But in Battlefield, it is more. It's not just a gameplay mechanic, though, is it?
Yeah.
Really, it's not just a portable smoke thing that does damage to a small area that you can throw.
Yeah.
It's not just a mechanic. It's a real thing that was horrible.
Yeah.
I've just had a horrible vision of the Flash of the Future where you'll just kind of see Steam reviews that just kind of read thumbs down EA mustard gas so OP, please nerf.
Oh Jesus. Hey, speaking of Steam reviews, I can segue onto a topic I wanted to talk about.
Ooh.
Steam has changed its review system to something that's actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
So now, instead of just writing your review and then the best reviews just sort of sit at the bottom of the thing, they have a overall review and a current review sort of area. So more recent reviews. So if a game has a really shitty launch, but then gets better, then people will be able to review it and change it, and then they'll be like, hey, this game got better. And so you say, oh, this game was crappy to start with, but has now got better. Whereas something like Payday 2...
Or the opposite.
Yeah, the opposite. Yeah. Payday 2, where something started out great,
although
and then went
it's
to
still
shit.
recent still says mostly positive. I mean, it is mostly positive for both. That's
it has,
strange.
because it's got a lot of... Yeah, I mean, it's got a billion.
Although, I clicked the recent, where it says mostly positive, and scrolled down. They're all negative, so I don't know where it's getting mostly positive from. All of them are negative. I don't know where it's getting mostly positive from. Whatever.
I don't know. Maybe they're just the more recent ones. But even if
I do like that.
Yeah, it's
a
nice system. Though I don't. Is it making any change to the choice of comments that are or reviews that are actually appearing? I can see there's the two review scores.
From what I heard, it's doing that one.
Ah.
Yeah. Slowly going to make its way through that.
It is just a nice thing because there are a lot of games. I mean, I say about games having bad launches, but for me, I'm more concerned about games that launch with a lot of hype.
Yeah.
And well, because there's a lot of games you can review a game on Steam before it's out.
Yes, you can.
So, like GTA 5 had like thousands of reviews before it was even out that were all, oh, it's amazing, and Fallout 4 had this as well. And this is what I'm more concerned about in the sort of hype train of, ooh, this game's amazing, and people sort of have this sort of honeymoon high, from playing it for fucking 2 hours, and oh, it's amazing, but then, when people have really started playing it and the hype's died down, then you can actually see, is it a good game or not?
Yep.
My only
what I'm
concern is whether this might make hate brigading a bit easier to do. Because if like a bunch of people storm in anger at a particular decision by the devs, like on a particular patch, if there's a balance change that's unpopular, could a relatively smaller number of people bring recent down to very
They can,
unpopular?
but I think because recent is constantly changing, and if the game is actually good, it will then eventually snap back. If people see it during that time and go, "Oh, this game's overall good but recently bad," they can then just check the reviews and see what's going on. So it's a bit more of an indicator that if there's a bit of trouble here, if it's very good, then you're like, all right, this is very good. Whereas if it's got a difference in it some way, you can then be like, oh, this had a thing happen to it. So you don't have to have your ear to the ground of gaming news constantly. You just have to listen.
Like Fallout 4, I'm looking at it like it's overall very positive, recent mostly positive. Which I'm just reading a couple of these interestingly. Like I love all these not recommendeds, but they have like 200 hours in game.
If you play something for 200 hours and don't recommend it, there's something clearly wrong.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of arguments for Fallout 4. Having a lot of problems and it not being necessarily a good RPG in a lot of ways and blah blah blah
That's
blah.
probably why I like it so much.
Yeah, but like you played it for 200 hours. You clearly enjoyed it. You don't do something for 200 hours if you don't enjoy it. It's not.
Yep.
It's not like you were a bit mate.
I'm 4 hours into Uncharted and I'm barely getting through it. I'm like, oh, do I have? Okay, maybe a bit more.
Well, yeah, it's like that, and it's not. I mean, something like Payday 2, that was ruined patches, and that kind of makes sense. But it's not like Fallout 4's really changed.
Yeah.
It's had some, interesting. It's had some cool DLC. I don't think any.
It's had cherries on top so far.
Yeah, I don't think any.
Both
of the
Automatron
changes...
and Wasteland Workshop are really cherries on top. Far Harbor will be interesting.
That's next week. That comes out next Thursday, isn't it?
Yep,
yeah.
19th, that's right.
There's no pre-release for that, unfortunately. There is a beta out for it, but it's under NDA and all that. So
they keep the DLC really close to their chest, actually. I was able to get, like, the base game a little bit early, but the DLC, no, I just get it at the same time as everyone else.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But, yeah, it's, I don't know, this concerns me. Like, Payday 2, yeah, but it's a lot of people just saying, oh no, it's crap because it's an awful Fallout game. It's a bad RPG. It's like, you played it for 200 hours. What? Like this.
Also, you must be pretty old school for that to be your main complaint, because let's be honest, Fallout hasn't been a hardcore RPG for literally decades.
My favorite one is
even
this one,
Fallout New Vegas was not a proper RPG.
No. But I really like this one, which is not recommended. 424 hours on record. As much as I hate to admit it, Fallout 4 is not a good game. 424.
400. I think I've not got 400. I think I've got like 300 total or something.
I got like 40.
24 hours.
I haven't played a lot. Oh, 70. There we go.
It's actually it's become my most played game on Steam. Although I did look at my GTA 5 online stats, because that tracks across. Like the one when I look at my PC GTA Online character, that's all my hours from PC and PS4 and PS3.
That's probably a lot of hours for you.
It's like 27 days.
Jesus Christ. That's a long
Because a lot of just sitting in AFK or testing stuff or whatever. Like, it's ridiculous. So that'd easily be my most played game on Steam, but it's not because I don't have it on Steam.
That's a long ass time.
But that's a long
actually, this kind of nicely segues into something I recently had to calculate, because I was trying to figure out all the games that I'd kind of put more than, say, 1,000 hours into. And I calculated my most 3 played games of all time were Rome Total War, Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, and Fallout New Vegas. I think those were the only 3 I can calculate that I've done more than 1,000 hours in. Matt and Dan, what are your 3 most played games of all time?
I don't think I've ever hit 1,000 hours on anything. Jesus.
Yeah, I do want to point this out. Those 27 days, that's only like 650 hours. That's not even close to 1,000.
I wasted a lot of time as a student playing Rome Total War instead of actually studying classics, which is what I was kind of there for, so, you know.
I mean, technically, you were learning about Rome a little bit, I guess.
You really weren't. I just went into my finals exams. I was like, basically, if the Carthaginians brought elephants, luckily the Romans had war pigs they could set on fire. It's fucking awesome.
Right, my top 5 games on Steam are Spelunky, because I play the shit out of Spelunky. 115 hours. That's as far as I've ever got on Steam for like most played game. Then Terraria.
Oh, this isn't based on Steam. I was estimating based on time I wasted as a teenager.
And then I'm going to estimate to the other one. So then there's Terraria, which you've got quite a lot on. Then City Skylines. Then Fallout 4. And then bizarrely, I'm going to do 2 more. Saints Row the Third, which I must have just left AFK for a moment because there's not 70 hours to that game. And then
Yeah,
Gary's mod,
yeah.
which I've only played a few times. I've only got 60 hours on that thing.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that's really missing, I played a lot of Just Cause 2, but I played that on consoles, largely.
Well, that's it a lot. Like, there's a lot of games I've played a lot of on console when I was younger, so Steam doesn't really reflect that.
I've played an absolute never-ending shit ton of Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 5 on the PSP, which is the best.
Oh
game.
yeah,
It's
handhelds.
so
Other than
good.
Pokemon Diamond, which I know I've got about 450 hours in, I don't want to think how long I've spent playing Advance Wars or
Oh my
Advance
god,
Wars 2.
Advance Wars would fuck me. I like the 3DS. Oh my god, shit. Where's my? Is it in here? Do I have my 3DS in here? Ah, no.
Are you about to recommend Dual Strike?
No, I'm gonna.
Because I will fucking cut you.
Oh my god, I genuinely think the game I've played most of my life is Animal Crossing on the 3DS.
Ooh.
I'm
Amazing.
trying to think where my
I wouldn't
3DS
put
is.
that past
Hang
you.
on, I'm gonna run and get my 3DS. I will be right back.
In the interim, I'm gonna fucking say what my top ones are.
Okay.
Now, I can actually calculate the exact amount of time I spent in GTA 5. Because the nice thing about GTA 5 is using the social club, it actually tracks your hours in every character across every system.
Yeah.
So I can just add all those up, which is actually a really useful. This is going to take me a minute. But in the interim, my most played game on Steam is Fallout 4. Just followed by New Vegas. I have played more New Vegas, just I pirated it when I was younger. I know, I pirated it when it came out, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Then I ended up buying it after I completed it like twice. So I probably have another
That's kind of made up for it. That's fair.
Well, yeah, I mean, I every game I ever pirated, I've bought. So, yeah, I've got 164 hours on Steam, and I've probably played easily 250 hours of that.
Good dad.
And then the game below that is Kerbal Space. I've played about 90 hours in Kerbal. And that's a game I often just sort of pick up and mess with. I think that's, like, for what, like, Dan, your Spelunky is your sort of pick up and mess around game for 20 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah. I vary between what I'm currently playing, but yeah. For the
Yeah,
longest
but
time,
that's
that
what
was
Kerbal is for me. In some ways. Like, it's a bit longer. It's something I'd play for an hour, but that's my pick up and have a mess around game. And then I've got Skyrim slightly below that, and then Civ 5 below that. And then Lego Batman.
That's an
I've got
interesting
65 hours in Lego Batman. The original Lego Batman.
That's quite a lot.
Somehow. I think I just spent a lot of time getting collectibles.
I looked up my 3DS.
Yep.
In third place. Scroll up. Third place, with 31 hours, is Nintendo eShop, which tells you how fast their fucking downloads are.
Yeah.
Second place, with 45 hours, The World Ends With You, which is a DS game that I've replayed. It took 45 hours to get through and I'm still not done with it. Which I think is beautiful, because I've played that before, so that's about 90 hours. But in number one is Animal Crossing New Leaf with 273 hours.
Wow.
Fuck me.
That's
But I think
a lot of hours.
that's a lot of hours, and I think me and Dan, we consider that a lot of hours. But like, I mean, there's a lot of people who have like easily 1,000 hours in a video game.
Yeah,
and that to me seems
right. So
Oh, thousands and thousands.
the way I
The
play
lunatics
games,
who are level 400 in Fallout 4, God knows what they've done.
the way I play
balls.
games is I just sort of play them and then I'm done with them and then that's it and then I'm
Well,
done.
that's it. Yeah. There's very few games.
I
go
have my
back to. I think
comfort
GTA is
blanket
one of the
games.
rare
Rome
ones.
Total War is my comfort blanket game. I will just go and like if it's quite something I just want to like do something and I don't want to go outside, I will just play Rome Total War for 10 hours and that'll be that. And I'll just do that occasionally and it will just eventually all stack up.
Wow. I checked my Yu-Gi-Oh game on the PSP because it does have a clock. 90 hours in this Yu-Gi-Oh game and I'm level 29.
Jesus.
Seriously.
That's slow leveling.
That is leveling doesn't get anything. I didn't even know there fucking was levels until just then. But that is one of the best PSP games because it's just everything I need. It's got like you actually right when you buy instead of like other games that give you cards and stuff as you play. In that game you get sort of like money, and then you go to the shop and buy the money, and you buy your packs of cards with the money. And instead of just going, you buy this pack card, you actually get given a box, and you can rifle through and pick out the one that you want, or you can just buy the whole box. When you get to sort of later things, I fucking love that so much. And there's like 50 or something different packs of cards. It's ridiculous. It's such a good game. Yeah, somebody just said, don't forget Minecraft. That's I've probably got a fair few hours in Minecraft.
That's it, because there's no way to track the hours now, is there?
I've probably got a lot in Minecraft. I've probably, one of the games I would say I had the most in, because See, back in the day, I used to like really long games because I was a kid and I could only afford certain things. So GTA Vice City and GTA San Andreas, I probably got several hundred hours because I spent a lot of time playing those. But then when you've got stuff like, and I've probably done quite a fair few hours with GTA 5, maybe not as many. But like now, I just like a game to finish. I like to, like when people are like, oh, you played, you said Just Cause 3 was the best game ever, and then you just stopped playing it. What happened? I was like, well, I finished it. Like that's, and then I'm done. Like, why are you still playing Dark Souls? Because I'm still not finished with it yet.
I think this is it. Like, I think we're kind of fortunate in that we get a lot of games.
Yeah.
And stuff, and that since there's more choice, you don't need to play a game for 100 hours because there are other games to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm quite a fan of like 5 hour games
I just
now.
spend my time doing other stuff. Like I spend more time making videos than playing games. Like really.
Oh yeah,
huge
I think any
like,
YouTuber does.
I've added up all my hours in GTA 5 overall systems. 755 hours total.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
I've already got
Overall
quite
systems.
a lot actually. How'd you do that? Did you just go on the Rockstar website?
Yeah, if you go to the social club, it's socialclub.rockstargames.com/game/GEV/PC/career/overview/GTA Online. That's a long thing, but yeah, if you just go into if you just go to your profile and then click GTA 5,
Okay.
the game process thing, and it comes up with your stats. If at the top you can see there's like a PC option, you can change between systems, and then just click every character and add up each thing from each character. These are really interesting stats, by the way. For example, the amount of time I've been wanted, right, in GTA Online is more than most time I've been in games. Like I have my wanted time in GTA Online is 35 hours, which is more than I've played most games for.
Yeah.
Just being wanted in GTA. like I've held the minigun weapon for 6 hours, 21 minutes, and 3 seconds.
That's interesting.
I've also apparently these stats are amazing. These are just sort of hidden away. It's
So
quite
hang
depressing,
on, how do you
actually.
get all of the different ones? Oh, you have to add them up manually, don't you?
Yeah, it's really annoying.
So
But your PC one, if for your G Online though, just take the most you take your PS4 one because that is the PS3 and PS4 one.
okay.
Together.
Well, that's the only one. I don't do
just
the
add
PC
up-
stuff.
Yeah, so just add up your single player time and
Apparently,
then.
it says 16 hours in the single player. Oh, but I did
For
in the
who?
PS in the
That's per
PS4. I
character.
didn't even play the fucking thing, did I? PS3.
That's per character though.
Oh yeah, I've got 16 hours on both the PS. Oh, per character. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
wow, I played a lot of Franklin.
That's 16 hours in a character.
Right, so that's 40 hours on the PS3 with all the characters, which is quite a bit. And then I completed it twice. I completed it on the PS. It does say I don't have it completed because I've bought the PC version, and it's like you have done that.
Yeah,
Quite
well,
annoying.
it's just your most recent.
I got through it a
purchase,
lot faster on the PS4 because I didn't bother to 100% it on the PS4.
Yeah. How many hours in the PS4 total then?
Let's have a look. To finish the story, it was 6 for Trevor, 7 for Franklin, and then 16 for Michael.
Okay.
Fair few. And then my GTA
Yeah.
Online one.
Yeah, look for that on PS4.
I have 1 million RP. Oh, my playtime is 9 days, 26 minutes.
Ooh,
So 200.
that's a lot.
Something at 13 hours.
That is 216 hours.
16 hours, yeah.
So and then your single player time on the PC as well.
Okay. It's not gonna
I mean, I don't know if that's significant. That might be. You
Well,
mess
it's
around with
mostly
mods,
just because
don't
I do the. Oh yeah, no, that's pretty difficult. I haven't actually played it. It's just for mostly doing things. Okay, well, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
you? What?
Okay, well that's clearly wrong. Apparently, I
Why?
played for 3 days on the PC version with
You
just
didn't
Franklin.
leave it like. Are you sure you didn't leave it AFK accidentally at
I
one point or
don't
something?
think I would have left it for 3 fucking days. When everyone else has
Did
got
you
like
change your
11 hours.
Did you change your computer
I
clock
do change my computer clock very regularly.
while you put it 3 days ahead accidentally while playing as Franklin?
What I've
GTA
most
for some
likely
reason?
done is my 100% save file that I downloaded because fuck playing it for a third time has a different clock on it, and so it skewed it in some way.
You say that, but I also did that and it hasn't messed with my times.
That's interesting. I like seeing how much time I'm wasting. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my time in it says here that like 9% of my income has come from jobs in GTA Online, but the reason I've spent that many hours is because that's the amount of time I've spent fucking making videos. Like I did 4 hours of it today doing Father and Sunday videos.
Yeah,
So that
okay.
is just
Dan, do you
work
remember?
mostly.
Do you remember a couple of years back when we discovered that car sale glitch and you told me to do it for a whole night?
Yes. Because I couldn't
It
do
shows me that 33% of my income is from car sales over the holiday. Just from that, like, one fucking day of grinding car sales to get us money.
Pretty vicious.
I mean, most of it's from hackers.
Yeah.
Now.
So, yeah, I've not
Okay.
spent more than, 200 hours on a game. Apparently.
John.
That was all very interesting. And now we have about 15 minutes to cover the entirety of the rest of the news.
Good. I like a ramble. I mean, we went 45 minutes over the commercial break, so fuck having a second one of those. But I want to talk about something. Well, I want to bring something up.
Yeah.
Dawn of War 3 is a thing! What?
What's Dawn of War?
That's a Warhammer thing,
Yes,
isn't it?
I don't care for Warhammer. I've never been interested in it, but the Dawn of War games are absolutely spectacular real-time strategies. I didn't particularly care for the second one because it stopped the base building. It was more sort of like squad things. But Dawn of War 1 is like my jam when it comes to play. If I want to play real-time strategy, it's either that or Sins of a Solar Empire I'll boot up. Maybe Total
What jam
Annihilation.
is it?
What?
Is it strawberry or raspberry or grape or what?
Gooseberry.
Is it like Warhammer Space Marines?
Yeah.
But RTS?
Yeah, but it's like all their different races.
Are you sure you're not thinking of StarCraft 2?
No, because it's all their different races, which means you can play as the Eldar, and their ability is to go invisible and build portals that can teleport shit. So you can make invisible secret.
He's thinking about the
other
Dark
bases.
Templar, don't worry. He's just thinking of the Dark
No, it's
Templar,
the
don't tell him.
Eldar. The Eldar.
And let me guess, there's Tyranids too.
He's thinking of the Zerg.
It's the Eldar. I know these things. They call it forth from the.
Yes.
The Eldar Protoss, it's fine,
Okay,
don't
thanks.
worry.
But no, so yeah, I mean, I love that because you can really dick around with it, and I think it's a really good fun game. It's nice and fast, and you sort of upgrade your units as you go. And I said that Dawn of War 3 is going to have more of a focus on base building and stuff like Dawn of War 1 did, with a bit more of the squad stuff from 2. I think that's going to be one of the best real-time strategy games of all time. Calling it now!
Okay. In other news, Capcom has issued a threat I believe we should take seriously. They have stated that Umbrella Corps is just a warm-up for the second half of 2016. And as it's the 20th anniversary of Resident Evil, and there is a very real possibility they might release Resident Evil 7, I think we should take this threat seriously and potentially bomb the building now. Because after Resident Evil 5 we thought it couldn't get any worse, then Resident Evil 6 happens. We don't know how bad Resident 7 will be, but we should consider it weaponized at this point. And it's just not safe to
Well,
let
by
them.
how far
could
down
you
these
imagine-
games are going means that Resident Evil 8 is going to be amazing.
No,
It's
no,
true.
no.
At some point, it will do a film so bad it's good. I don't
Could
think that really
you
happens in
imagine-
games.
Dude, Resident Evil was
Could
like,
you-
1 was great, 2 was, 3 was, that's shitty, and then 4 was spectacular, and then it's just shut out.
No, right. Could you imagine if in Resident Evil 6, it's just, or Resident Evil 7, that's a, yeah.
You mentally blocked out Resident Evil 6's existence
I've never
there for a
played
minute,
any
didn't you?
of them,
And now you've
so-
remembered it exists and you're sad.
No, but
Which
in
was
Resident
the
Evil
one
7,
with the
could you...
jizz giraffe for its number logo? Was that 5?
That was 6.
Oh, that was 6.
That's
Oh, God.
6. 6
No, right.
apparently can look
In-
a bit like a giraffe receiving a
Yeah.
blowjob, yes.
In Resident Evil
If you
7,
really
the story
wanted to.
is, right, that the Umbrella Corporation have grown trees all over the world to protect it from a solar flare.
Okay.
Ooh, it was Albert Wesker's plan all along. Because it was always
Well,
Albert
the Dodgers didn't
Wesker's
do
plan
anything
all
about it,
along.
just let it happen, so, oh well. That ends that. Civilization
Now,
6 was
in Need
announced.
for Speed
Oh my
news...
God. Yep,
Gives a
alright.
shit about
Need for Speed have confirmed there will not be a Need for Speed release in 2016. The next one will actually be in 2017. Potentially meaning after 217 releases in the past 2 decades, it's time to actually start spacing them out to every other year.
you know, you
Do you
say
think this
that.
is a good decision? Let Matt know by tweeting at Mataphobia, hashtag Need for Speed 2017 with your opinion about this news.
No, can I just... Look, okay, is it a yearly release? I didn't think one was in 2015. I didn't think there was an Need for Speed game
there
for several
was
years.
definitely one in 2015
Like a proper, not a proper one for several
Wasn't there
years.
just one that was
at least.
called Need for Speed? That was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that
was
was
Need for
last
Speed was
year.
was 2015.
Well, that was
but there's
late-
not
okay,
going to
late
be one in
2015.
16.
Yeah, but I
Need for
didn't think
Speed
there was
fans
one.
have to do
I didn't think there was
without.
one. I didn't think there was one for several years. I thought there wasn't one in 14 or 13.
There's never not been one. They're like moths if you leave the window open by mistake in the evening. They just get in.
Yeah, but it's stuff like, yeah, you don't really notice them though. It's kind of like, you know, you notice the yearly release of Assassin's Creed and Battlefield and stuff, but this is sort of just like,
You don't always notice. I think Assassin's Creed got to the point where you didn't notice them anymore. Like, I'm not sure whether Liberation actually exists or if it was just a fever dream of mine.
Oh yeah, Need for Speed. There wasn't one in 2014. There was on Need for Speed: The Run,
Matt, you're
2011.
playing
Most
into his
Wanted.
hands. You're talking about Need for Speed things. This bit will only grow stronger if you feed it.
Welcome to Need for Speed Corner,
No!
where we talk about all the Need for Speed news.
We drift
Check
through
out
that
my-
Need for Speed use.
Oh, fuck me.
Welcome
We're
to my
gonna
new
drift through
YouTube
this
channel, Need
corner.
for Speed Tube.
Need for tube.
Many a true Need for Speed. Let's go away from Need for Speed.
And in other games that aren't coming out until 2017, Mass Effect has been pushed back.
I didn't know that
Mass
had
Effect
a release
Andromeda.
date, so it's quite hard to beat.
It was kind of one of those that was vaguely earmarked for holiday season 2016, but they've decided no, 2017 now, which is almost always a good sign. If something gets pushed back, then that means had they stuck to the original, it would have been rushed. So this is almost certainly good news.
No, this is one of these games that I'm very concerned that will happen the Uncharted 4 syndrome.
What?
And then the hype will take over.
Yeah.
No, that the hype
But the
will
fact
take
that
over
they're
and
not
it'll be
making it about
mediocre,
Shepard,
but-
they're not making it about Shepard, which is a good sign. If they dragged Shepard out of retirement to do a fourth one, that would have been really worrying.
No, yeah, that would have been terrible, but I just I
Guarantee
know
it'll
it's
be
going to come
basically
out.
about the Wraith, whatever the fuck they were called. It was the Wraith, it was the Reapers, it was Stargate.
The rapists.
So no, the Wraith, they're Stargate Atlantis, not the Rapists, although they kind of... But it'll be them
Commander
coming
Shepard
back,
standing in
and they'll
front
be
of the council. I'm really worried about the rapists. We have dismissed such
There'll
wild
be like
accusations.
a
There's no
thing.
such thing as rapist
There'll
Shepard.
be a thing where it's like, oh, there's this guy there's like mysterious signals or some shit. You'll eventually find out it's Shepard, and it'll be like, oh, Shepard, and that'll be his.
Yeah, but
callback to the thing.
I
It
just
could theoretically
know.
be the Shepard
Right.
Reapers if the Control ending was canon.
The ending I picked was everybody dies, we'll do it again.
Oh, did you try and shoot the Star Child?
No, I waited for them to patch an actual correct ending for the series here.
Okay.
I was one of those people
You
who
see-
went, oh my god, this whole game is about history repeating itself. Why can I not do that?
Well, you can just, you can walk away and just let no decision be made, yeah.
Yeah, but no, they patched in another one where you go, no, yeah, that was it, and you go, no, there you go, then, yeah.
Yeah, and it's Liara, and it's the message that Liara recorded, which is actually quite a sweet ending in some
I
ways.
like that ending. Everybody dies, but we'll maybe fix it the next time.
No,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I just know they're gonna do it, and it's gonna be reasonably mediocre, but it's gonna be fucking praised and given fucking high scores and all this shit, because everyone's fucking
Can I just
big
point
old
out
fanboys.
something? Can I point out something? When Mass Effect 3 came out, and it had that
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
It's Mass Effect. It's Mass Effect.
Wingardium Levy.
Well, they did go to Mars
Effect.
very early in the game.
When they had that game, and I was doing a video on it, and I didn't like it very much. The thing I really didn't like was the multiplayer. Because the multiplayer...
Oh, yeah, the most- I
multiplayer
I
you
never
sort of
bothered
had
with
to
it.
Play to get, and people were like, oh, don't you get
had
things. But to get like
multiplayer?
the very best ending, you had to play the multiplayer, and the multiplayer had microtransactions in it. And in the, I believe in the video for it, I claimed this is the start of single-player pay-to-win. And a lot of people were like, don't be so stupid. And now look where we are! This is why you should listen to me! I'm clearly smart.
I think you could
Well,
just get the best ending if
lucky.
you did literally 100% of the single player campaign. You could just get enough war assets to get the good
No, you can
ending.
get like the passable ending, and then like a few things will go wrong.
Because if you went destroy, you could definitely have Shepard survive without playing any multiplayer. Because I got that.
Yeah, but I didn't want him to. I wanted everyone to die. I wanted them all to
Yeah.
die. Made
Like,
sense.
you're such a nice person.
Well, if a story is going one way, I will go. I don't care if it's like the dark option. I'll totally do that thing, like Far Cry 3, when it's like you've got that dick who becomes an absolute psychopath. When it's like, do you want to keep being a psychopath, or do you want to just go back to your friends? I was like, I'm gonna keep being a psychopath. Slice, 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 slicing up my friends.
I call that the good ending. He died happy.
Yeah. He died happy. That's a fun game.
Yeah. What more can you ask for?
Yep.
Any other news? Because
Civilization 6
Mass
is a
Effect.
thing.
Yes, that was just today. We
Yeah.
know like nothing about it so
It
far.
looks a bit sort
I mean,
of
looking-
mobile phony. It's a bit.
looking at screenshots, it looks like Civ 5 with better graphics.
Yes, which is broadly what you'd expect, to be honest. No one was expecting a massive overhaul.
I had a brief thing I wanted to talk about. I'll do this very quickly. About the upcoming game Mafia 3.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a game that is not built for the fans of Mafia and will collapse under its own arse. Because the Mafia
It's
series...
trying to branch out
Interesting.
into a GTA.
Yeah, the Mafia
sphere.
series have always been a very serious sort of series. They're like, the cars were always very heavy and slow, and it had an open world, but it was just for the missions. There was nothing to do in it, which I always liked, because it was just, you didn't want to just hang around, dick around. You were still doing your job, but there was an open world, so you can get from A to B however you wanted. But now they're doing like this side quests and shit, and it's all, they like going, oh, it's all about action driving and stuff, and it's like, oh, and the UI is really modern looking. Like, everything on that UI is very clear, and it doesn't look like the 1960s thing at all. Also, it's not like Mafia; it's about Mafia hunters or something. I'm like, this.
So they're just trying to be. They're trying to be GTA.
It does look like they're trying to be GTA in the 60s, and I think if they do that, they're going to have a backlash from the fans. But also, they're not going to have the budget of GTA in the 60s, and it's going to kind of collapse a bit.
Oh, yeah, but they're probably still going to sell to a bunch of people who want to see.
They might have
GTA
noticed
in
that
the 60s.
GTA Online has made slightly more enough money to buy everyone in Wales a yacht.
Yes.
So
No, not that again.
I thought they were buying everyone in Wales and Orange. I've forgotten all the things we said. I've got any other things. There's a Battlefront 2's coming out, which is the 4th Battlefront game.
which is
Yeah,
really bloody weird because they're not even close to done with the first Battlefront yet.
Well, why would they? It's EA. They're going to just cut the servers off of that one and go, fuck you all, and then release.
Because I went to check this. Like the first bit of Battlefront, which when it came out, everyone said there's not enough stuff here. That it was content light.
Yeah.
They released Battle for Jakku, and then about the same time there was a season pass, and the season pass was going to be for 4 more DLC packs. So far, we've had 1, and that was Outer Rim.
Yeah.
There's Best Bin in summer, Death Star sometime at the end of this year, and the final one hasn't even been announced yet. It's sometime in 2017, and 2017 is already the year they've earmarked for Battlefront 2. So, they've announced the flipping sequel before they've even announced all the DLC packs, which just feels kind of, distasteful to the people who are still paying into Battlefront 1, quite frankly.
EA.
Yep. EA, the sensitive World War
What
I
do you
people.
expect? Also, I was saying this to John before. What do we call? Like, are they actually calling it Battlefront 2?
If they do, I'm going to be even angrier than normal, because most of the time they'll now go for a subtitle. For instance,
Yeah, I mean,
came
Mirror's Edge
back and then it
Catalyst, at
was-
least.
Yeah.
Ooh, Battlefront Revolution, I'm going to go for.
No, Battlefront
At least
Rebels or something it'll be, won't it? It'll be Star
But yeah, but at least we
Battlefront
can
Resistance.
Ba-
Okay,
fucking be
Battlefront
better.
Re
It
something.
might just-
Which Battlefront Re is it going to be?
It might get Battlefront and then whatever the film's called. Whatever Star Wars 8's called.
And I really don't like that they're doing the yearly release thing with it.
Well, it's AI. Of course they were going to do the fucking... I mean, even
Like,
said
it's
this,
so-
like, no, it's not a thing.
Of course, it was going to be a thing. I just resent it because a lot of games work as like a bi-yearly or even 3-yearly release of just them making this quality product rather than shitting this
If
thing out
it's coming
every
out in 2017,
fucking-
it's going to come out with the 8th movie. So it will probably be called something along fucking... Yeah. It'll be like the
That's it. They don't.
Dark Side Adventure. I
They-
don't fucking care.
That's the problem. They care more about hitting the fucking time goal as opposed to actually making it.
They do. This is modern gaming in a nutshell.
I know.
In
it's
better
why I'm so
sci-fi
cynical.
modern gaming news,
What?
Stellaris sold 200,000 copies in the first 24 hours,
I
thus meaning good game sells
That
well.
was a bizarre moment because that's a game that I literally never heard a single thing about. I knew nothing about it, and then it came out.
Paradox has some hardcore fans. The people who are into like Crusader Kings 2 or Europa Universalis 4 are seriously hardcore.
I like those games, but they're fucking impenetrable. So I've got a copy of
I gave
Stellaris
Stellaris a go and I had fun, although a lot of people were... I don't want to offense, people were very polite. It was a very polite community. Like, I didn't get, like... When I tried Dark Souls and wasn't very good at it, I got a lot of fairly aggressive comments.
wanna
When I
point
went into
out, right.
Stellaris... When I went into Stellaris and wasn't very good at it, people were very constructive and helpful.
I wanna
Which
point
is
out,
nice.
John,
It's a lovely community, actually.
Your community is inherently constructive and helpful, and when you say people were
Oh, I
aggressive
broke
with
them with Dark Souls. I went too
No, no,
far
no,
with
no.
Dark Souls.
What you considered aggressive for Dark Souls is just normal YouTube commenting. That's not aggressive, John. That's comparatively aggressive for your audience.
I don't want to
normal
bring this
for
up
the
because I
rest of
swore
YouTube.
I'd never mention this again. But you're aware of the Journey video, right? Oh, I
Journey
said
fans.
things about
Ooh.
Tosses.
that went too far. I've had that
Oh,
for
my
a list
game
of things
about
that must never be
hugs and
mentioned again.
feelings, That's one of those weird games that I'm like, that's a piece of shit, and everyone likes it. I'm like,
the thing
alright.
is, though.
Yeah, but I said it out loud and I never should have done.
A lot of people in
thing
the
is, though,
Twitch
you
chat
say
want me to
that,
talk
but-
about Overwatch. Alright, I have no interest in Overwatch or Battleborn for that reason and won't be covering them or really thinking about them. There we go.
Trace is my favourite Overwatch character. I like her ass.
How-
It's round.
Oh, I don't. it's one of these. They're also they're the games that are just hyped up, aren't they? They're not terrible.
Wait, hang on. I may have got it wrong. Bastion's my favourite Battleborn character. I like his arse. It's round.
Also, his soundtrack is really good.
Yeah.
He plays a nice.
I like that really
Anyway.
deep voice, the deep narration that Bastion
John.
has when he turns into a turret.
Hey, Witcher 3
John, the
Blood and Wine's
dislike-
coming out in May. That's a news piece. That's all I really have to say about it. But it's the thing.
John,
Yes.
the dislikes on your journey video are like 15%.
Yeah, that's really high.
For you, that's really high.
Oh yeah, that's the highest ever.
For the rest of YouTube, that's not that bad. I mean, fucking these Podcats, I think, get that many like that ratio of dislikes.
They're not that bad. They're alright. Keep an eye on them.
Podcats.
Most importantly of all, we've got new Pokemon starters.
Blathers, we've
Who's
spoken
your
about this already.
favourite?
We've done this already.
Shut up, John.
Who's your favourite?
Blathers.
Shut up.
Not
Blathers is
Blathers.
a Pokemon.
I'm throwing blue tack at my mic.
He's
in
a
anger.
Pokemon.
Shut up, John.
You gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
There's
Pokemon.
829 of the fuckers now, whatever it is. Oh my god, I made up.
Oh no, there's already
I
about
was about to say, I made
760.
up
They're
a
about to
really
add in more.
exaggerated number, and they're
It's-
actually going to be at like 900.
It's gonna
Do you
hit
think-
like this generation. It will hit like 900, and it's only a matter of time to 1,000.
Awful.
Okay, you know, based on EA's track record with this sort of World War One thing and what we've been.
The new Pokemon's being published by EA.
Yeah.
No,
he just means it's in
hear me out,
early
lad.
access. Dun dun
No,
dun.
with the track record of this with World War One and the insensitivity towards it, do you think they make a Pokemon, but it's like you're like American slaver, and it's just about catching all the
Oh
slaves?
my god.
You just wander around African villages,
That's
like going
to
into battle with
Pokemon.
parents.
Slave of
to
Mars.
Buy
catch
50
their
Pokeballs.
Slave
Best
of
value.
Mars.
50 Pokeballs. Best value.
Like I could totally, if they're going down that route, I could totally see them doing that.
I choose
That's a
you,
sad thing.
Pikachu. Cut to a sad man. Oh.
The Pokemon starters kind of confirmed that Nintendo has officially run out of ideas. I mean, they already kind of had in the previous generations, but at this point we do have Hoot Hoot again, Purloin
Slave
again,
Tetris.
and Seal again. All three of them are really, really similar to existing Pokemon. They have totally run out of animals.
Bulbasaur used
Pokemon.
whip.
Vine Whip.
No, just whip in this case.
You
Oh, I didn't even see that one coming.
No.
Oh, God. No.
Good at that. Hey, Matt, we should end it here because this shit's getting quite dark.
I mean,
I
Oh,
think that
God.
does sum up the
That makes me
chemistry
very-
there.
Pokemon's another thing that I just like. The over hype for it just puts me off it completely.
I just think it's the
Like
same
any
thing,
interest I
it's
might have had in
It's
Pokemon.
the boring bit of RPG. It's just like the numbers versus numbers.
Well,
Add
anyways.
gameplay and I'll give a shit. That's all I want.
Well, that's it. But like, it's one of those things that just is like avert to any fucking criticism because everyone's just so fanboyish over it that it just fucking.
Yep. Here's the
Nothing
thing
ever happens.
about critics, right? You need us. Because if it's only fanboys sucking off EA's dick, then they're just going to release
Oh.
even worse shit
Did
up until the
you-
point where you don't even like it. So,
Oh, did
yeah.
you see that fantastic videogamer.com article that was like apologizing for their Battlefield?
Oh,
games?
yeah.
That was just really
viciously
salty.
That made me laugh.
I like Jim
And of course,
Sterling
the
ones as
comments underneath it were furious and outraged,
well.
obviously.
Oh, so good.
Honestly.
If you think Uncharted 4 is a 10 out of 10, then good for you. But I don't. And I make video games, so I'm going to make them
Look-
unlike that one.
No, this is the thing, because a lot of people watch the reviews and they listen to like critics and stuff because, as opposed to because they're looking for opinions, they just want their opinion like verified, essentially.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, like
Why don't you like the thing I like? We're different people. Ooh, but you should. Why does it matter? Who actually cares?
yeah.
You can like whatever you
I
want.
can't
There is no
because then
law
what
against
if,
it.
What if they're wrong?
Well,
What-
the
you
problem
can't-
is
you have to
YouTubers
validate,
make it
you
worse.
have to listen to people that validate you, because otherwise you could be considered wrong. And if you can't be wrong, because you're the main character of life, you have to be right.
It's worse for. I think YouTubers get it the worst of everyone because when people become fans of YouTube channels because they're very personable, people start
Yeah.
like thinking they're kind of like your friend.
Yep.
And
Well,
then
that's
if
it,
someone who
isn't it?
they consider their friend says something they strongly disagree with, they feel like they have the right to react.
I'd like to point out,
more angrily because they feel a personal
excessively
relationship.
clear that nobody I talk to is my friend, including you, Matt, as well. Especially you, Matt. Actually, I definitely,
I hate you too, Matt. You're a
we
twat.
definitely underline that.
I mean, in fairness, Dan, you do pay me to spend time with you, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's
You're
probably...
basically my
I'm more of a
whore.
prostitute.
Yeah, you're my
Yeah.
whore.
I mean, you are getting married, but you're still sleeping with a whore. So.
Sleeping with? No, ordering about? Yes.
Well, what the-
It's 11:05 at night, and where's Dan? Is he with Rebecca? No, he's with Matt.
Yeah. Although I am thinking about dinner, so I'm cheating on everyone pretty much with a lovely roast I'm about to cook.
with food.
This is the life of the YouTuber. I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. I'm gonna cook me a roast.
Yep. I literally, the other night, I got to bed at 3 a.m. I was thinking, that's a bit late. Tomorrow I'll have an early night and be in bed by 1 a.m.
That's it, isn't it? You.
Yep.
I don't know why YouTubers have such a late fucking sleep
Because
schedule.
Americans,
Yeah.
we're around for bloody Americans.
with their bloody being awakeness right now. You all just got
bloody
back from
time
school, you
zones.
bastards.
Dirty.
You bastards.
We can fuck the Australians. Oh.
Don't.
I
they're
feel really
filled
bad
with
for the Australians because I
spiders.
time everything on my channel. I time for the benefit of Americans primarily. The Australians get really screwed over by everything.
Yeah.
In fairness, most of your fans are American.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's 55% or so.
Well, the majority of the Nerd³ fans are English.
Are we?
At least the ones who...
No, we
the ones that come to this
we're
shit.
majority American.
Well, on the YouTube videos, yeah, but in the sort of overarching sort of like outside fan community, it's mainly British.
Yeah,
Mainly
maybe.
British.
Maybe. I like to. I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe.
I always release at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. UK time.
I'd say yeah, maybe.
Well, 9 p.m. UK time is as everyone's getting home, sort of on the right hand side
fucking-
of America. Everyone's having the lunch break on the left hand side of America, and in England,
Where?
it's 9.
Western, Eastern.
Yeah. I do 10 p.m. for the same reason,
Don't
basically.
you fucking give me the maybe, but fucking did a census, mate.
Oh yeah, you did your illegal census with all that
Totally
data that you then
illegal
sold
census.
to make us money.
I did sell it to make... we made so much
We
money off
made
this census, by the way, thank you.
77 pence from Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark
Mark
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg.
I want to point out,
It's Mark
when I ever
Zuckerberg
tried to look
made
at
up
these
Marcus.
censuses now, Google Docs have changed their summary view slightly.
Uh-huh.
It used to be a case of, for the fields where you could write anything, it used to sort of have a couple of them and then you could click view all. Now it doesn't do that, it just loads them all on the page.
Nice.
When you got like a thing with like 10,000 responses, it takes like a good minute to load the page.
Yep. I could hear that making the Sonic
Yeah, okay,
Hedgehog dies thing in my head. Just doom.
Okay, 43.6% of people who answered the survey were from the UK, and 26% were from the US,
Really?
and 5% were from Australia.
That's strange. I can very quickly
Yeah,
check my
4% from
analytics.
Canada.
Whoa. My analytics say
Ooh,
that
Ooh.
guess how many Japanese people? Guess how many Japanese
77.
5.
Oh, wow.
From my
5.
from my watch time, United States is 39%, United Kingdom is 33%, Australia is 5%, Canada is 4%, and then the sexy bastards in the Netherlands are 1.9% of my audience.
What did you say the UK and America were? again?
America is 39, UK is 33.
That's so British.
Yeah, there's a
That's a
sort
lot of
because
British.
Australia, sort of Canada, they're all right, same, but US and America are sort of higher on this chart than they would be.
If I change it to lifetime, as that was just like the last 28 days, then the United States is 43% and the UK is just 30%.
That's interesting.
And then the female drops off as well, because I'm female 10% if I do lifetime, whereas it's the last 28 days, female's about 20%.
I think that's
women's.
predicted rather than accurate, though. I'm not sure that data's accurate, the male-female thing.
Yeah, well, because...
I think
No.
they're calculating it as best they can, and they make assumptions that because you are a gaming channel, people they don't know, they just assume are male.
Yeah. Only
You know,
men
one of the things
like video
one of the things I
games.
really like about this census is that I asked what country do you live in and what country were you born in,
Uh-huh.
and there's a surprising difference. Like every country, it's about the same, but for some reason, America, 25% of people were born there, and only 26.
Whoa! Excuse me. Sorry. You're very interesting, but I'm
27
allergic to numbers, you see, which is why I
27% live there, which means a lot of people have emigrated to America, which is kind of depressing, isn't it?
Seems dumb. Hey, we should end this because I'm fucking hungry.
I'm
Matt's
die.
dying, and John's probably going to just talk about
I'm
Need for
dying.
Speed if we go on any longer.
John.
There's no more Need for Speed news. We're done with the Need for Speed segment.
John.
Or Need for Spegment.
Need for Smegment. No, actually, let's not.
No,
let's
need,
not.
need for
Oh my
Spegment.
God.
We got to say it right. It's the Need for Spegment.
I mean, do you think a car, right, the front of a car, like, do you think that could suit like a smegma sort of bodywork or?
And on that bombshell, it's time to end this episode of the Grand Tour. I've called it here first, so it's ours now. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye, John. Goodbye, Matt. Goodbye, all you lovely bastards that are watching. Goodbye.
Ta-ra!